And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, Hunter Biden has been indicted yet again. Will he go to the penitentiary? Will he face any kind of penalty, or will he just get the Biden son treatment? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the GOP debate. Who won? Who lost? Does it even matter? What does the mainstream media think? Who do they want to win? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the UNLV shooter, the University of Nevada at Las Vegas shooter, wound up being a senior citizen who at one point was a tenured professor over at East Carolina University, not too far from my neck of the woods in Virginia. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, shout out to all the Bodega owners and workers on the front lines in New York City operating these corner stores who now are allowed to conceal carry. They get their permits in the secretive fashion because they need them out there in New York City. That crime is getting out of control. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, you got to talk about the vegan college in UK. What in the world kind of nonsense is that? How are you going to require me to eat vegan on campus? We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. Thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. Shout out to you guys on the YouTube. Shout out to you guys on the Facebook. And thank you to everybody who's watching me, or pardon me, listening to me on their favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Apple iTunes. What's the other one? Spotify. Wherever you are, please give me a thumbs up, 5-star rating, whatever you can do. And if you want to hear this audio only, go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. We have quite a bit to get to today. Hopefully everything is good. I'm getting this weird comment on my YouTube. It says that I have a low audio stream. Hopefully the audio is good. If the audio is good, everything sounds perfect, y'all let me know. If it's not, then we can fix that. But I think we are good to go. I'm seeing my audio right here, and it's fine. That went away, so we good. YouTube messing up. See, YouTube playing games, trying to get me distracted, but I think we are good. We got a lot to get into. We got quite a few topics that I've covered and some new things that I have not covered. We got the migrants acting up, causing problems. Have you guys heard about the Army-Navy game? How people had their hotel rooms canceled because the migrants needed the rooms? We'll get to that a little bit later. I may even do a video on that tomorrow, but let's talk about the sponsors first. Then we're going to get into all the videos. I don't want to get ahead of myself. The audio's good, sounds good, perfect. We're good to go. YouTube's just playing games as usual. But shout out to the YouTubes and the Facebooks. Let's keep on rocking. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. Their link will be in the description, or just go to patriotpost.us in your browser of choice and tell them ABL sent you once you get there. Also, go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website. Again, ablmerch.com. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to find articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, you can find links on the left, right, center, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you need will be right there on the website. And each article will have full videos, a summary, description, pictures, whatever I could post on there that's legal and I won't get sued for or sent to the penitentiary for. I will do that on the website, anthonyblogan.com. And also go to anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can find my email address, my email address, my social media accounts, my Facebook, YouTube. Of course, you know where you are right now, but Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Not going to call it X, going to call it Twitter. All those links will be right there. And of course, as I always say, please beware of the scammers. These guys exist on every social media platform, especially YouTube. What'll happen is I'll post a video and then you comment on my video, and then someone replies to your comment that may look like me, and they're offering you some kind of get rich quick scheme, talking about email me at I'm a 9,000 pound Lithuanian scammer at hotmail.com for some advice on some Forex and Bitcoin and things of this nature. You could put this money in a life insurance policy, take it out in 15 days and double your money. A little bit of common sense. Don't do that. You're going to get robbed, blind, barefaced, no pistol. But also, don't email me saying, hey, I trusted you, you robbed me. It's not me, Poppy. It's not me. That's it. It's not me, huh? I didn't do it. It's some dude in Nigeria or some dude in some former Soviet bloc. Okay, it's not me. So don't get scammed. Ain't nobody got no time for that. If you're ever wondering if you're conversing with me or not, the best way to go about it is to go to the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact. And if you look at the email on my website and then look at the email that you're responding to, it's not going to match. You see, my email is contact@anthonyblogan.com. It's right there on my website, right there on the contact page. You are responding to, I'm a Nigerian scammer. I'm robbing you, barefaced, no pistol, no gun at gmail.com. That's not me. Okay. So please be aware. Please be alert and focused and take some responsibility. And especially right now, I know people got kids and grandkids you're trying to buy gifts for. You're trying to buy gifts for your husband, your wife, and everything else. Now ain't the time to get robbed, nor is any time, but right now is the worst time. So we got a lot to go through. Shout out to Alan. He says, I doubled my money with ABL. You sure didn't. It wasn't me. It was not me. It was a dude that said he was ABL, but this man was in the room with 15 Nigerians in Lagos. It's 200 square feet, and they're sweating bullets. They're sweating bullets right by the equator. Ain't no electricity except for on their phones. They're using a solar power generator to charge their phones up. And in that room, ain't no electricity, ain't no deodorant. It's a whole big mess. But we're going to get into a lot of things today. And again, I thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. Shout out to you guys over on the Facebook. I appreciate y'all as well. And YouTube and everybody listening to me audio only. I thank you. Could not thank you anymore for what you're doing. Shout out to you guys on Facebook. I see you, Christine. Shout out to you, Al. I appreciate y'all. We're going to get into quite a bit. All right. Let me go ahead and share this on my regular page, and then we'll keep on rocking and rolling here. I got a lot to talk about. There's a whole lot happening. There's probably some breaking news as well. Check us out live. Y'all pardon me. I'm building the ship while I'm flying it. Y'all please pardon me. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, RIP. He used to say that all the time. Building the ship while we flying it. Building the ship. I'm not cursing. I don't do that. No cursing. All right. Now let me share it here, and then we are going to get into it. We got cold season coming up. When I say cold, I mean that I guess you would say in two different ways. Cold as in it's getting colder outside. We got snow and all kind of stuff. There's a little bit of everything going on. But also cold because people are starting to get colds. They're starting to get head colds. They're starting to get the corona colds. And then somebody might say, hey, you're sneezing a lot. You're coughing a lot. You might have a coronavirus. I'm not saying C-19, but it could be something like that. And then they said, you know what? Because you have this particular bug going on, we might want you to get vaxxed up again. And I think people are kind of exhausted. People don't want to hear that too much anymore. And before I even get into that, I want to show you guys a video about other things that are going on. People talking about, oh, you got to wear a mask because C-19, all this, that, and the third. Before I get to them asking you to do that yet again, let's get into a bigger issue. Here's one thing that I saw quite a bit. During the scamdemic, people were wearing masks inside their homes, but it's like, hey, when's the last time you changed your air filter? How about your ceiling fan? You got all kind of dust and everything else in your ceiling fan. What's going on with that? Then you got hoarders and you got mold issues. The things, remember the whole Chinese drywall kerfuffle? Oh, that was crazy. Back when I was in Virginia, that was a whole big thing. There was a news story where people had signs on their window that you could see from the outside, but they were obviously posted from the inside talking about please help. I mean, it was a nightmare. I think we have bigger fish to fry than this bug you can't really stop with your Paw Patrol mask, okay? You got on a Paw Patrol mask, Avengers Endgame mask. You have on just some random piece of cloth you got from Old Navy, Target, Walmart, Food City, Food Line. You put that on your face thinking that it's going to protect you. It ain't going to do a thing. You might as well have a chain link fence up to stop grains of sand. It's the same exact situation. It does you no good. But they say, hey, put the mask on. It'll help you. It'll prevent this, that, and the third. It ain't going to prevent a thing. Okay, if you could smell cigarettes and all kind of body odor through that mask, the C19 particle is much smaller than that. It'll go right through there. Okay, the same way that funk hits you in your nose through your mask will be the same way that C19 goes right through that same passageway. Okay, it's going right through there. If you got a subway platform and it's open, them same people that are walking, you have the C19 person walking right with the smell people, side by side. Anyway, I'm getting too deep into the metaphors. Let's watch this, then we're going to keep on going. And RIP headphone users in advance. Let's get it cracking. Here we go. Now, this is about an apartment complex that had, let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. 9 people died in 2 weeks at one apartment complex. And there was an issue with mold. Shout out to Donnie the Don over on Twitter for posting this. Then we're going to keep on going.
Our friends are dying one by one. We're putting them in the ground. One day they're sitting next to you, and the next day, where's this one? Oh, they died, didn't you know?
Want to see me expose this bad landlord? They're running an apartment complex that seems to be killing its tenants. Here we are in Parkview Apartments in Albany, New York, where in the past 2 weeks alone, there have been 9 deaths here due to mysterious causes. That might have something to do with the toxic mold at this building. That's been confirmed with mold tests.
My man, okay, thank you for exposing what's happening at the apartment complex, but the delivery is a little bit off-putting, and so is the music. I think you can still get the message across without doing all this. Just a little bit of commentary, please pardon me, but thank you for bringing the news to the general public. We need the news, okay? So thank you for that.
I spoke to one tenant who told me how their doctor found mold in their blood from living in their apartment. This tenant tried to work with the management company here to get moved to a different apartment, but they were denied. And you might ask, why isn't code enforcement doing anything about this? Well, it might have to do with how code enforcement's really just another name for the bribe store. You see, I found out that this guy, the director of the Department of Buildings and Regulatory Compliance in Albany, New York, was contacted by tenants to look into the safety of the complex. And you know what he did? He told the tenants to come back with a test confirming the presence of mold. So the tenants banded together, fundraised as a community because they have to pay for the mold test themselves. And they did that, and the mold test came back positive as they expected. But what the tenants didn't expect was what happened next. You see, once they got back to this code enforcement official with the positive mold test that he said they needed, well, he told them it's not enough. And here we are, 2 weeks and 9 people dead.
Now, that's pretty rough. Now, what I was looking for, first of all, 2 things. You guys are saying that's pretty much his style, is how he sounds. Okay, I get it. It's all good because everybody has their particular style. Like some may say they don't like the way I talk, they don't like the way I present, and I understand. Everybody has their own unique style, so I get it 100%. Keep on rocking, young man, old man, however old you are. But the second thing is I was looking to see if it was a senior living facility. If you're talking about a place where you have a lot of elderly people that may need assisted living, you might have a higher rate of mortality, but I didn't see that. It appears to be just regular apartments, and you got some serious mold issues going on, all right? And as a matter of fact, I think this is going to be a good segue. I was going to play some other videos a little bit later, but I got some videos I want to show you because this is really important to understand. Now, one thing they say about the illegal aliens and the migrants, they say that they do jobs that Americans don't want to do. Remember the whole thing about fruit pickers and bed makers, things of this nature? Remember that? Well, here is some of their craftsmanship. Remember I said when you have people that come across the border, a lot of them you hear them at the construction sites, things of this nature all the time. Well, this is part of this. This is kind of how they do. I may have played this last time, but I'm playing one more time in case you didn't see it.
All right, so take a look at this house with me, and let's see what $1.3 million will buy us these days.
Are you seeing this? Look at the nails. Now, I know a little bit about this kind of stuff. When I was in high school, we had a shop class, and in our shop class, we used to build sheds. So I know a little bit about framing and things of this nature. I'm not going to sit here and say I can go on a construction site and throw something up by myself, but I'm competent enough to understand that this clearly is not right and it's kind of unsafe. Obviously, in a roof structure, you're going to have more support than just that right there. But clearly, they just said, man, forget about it. And obviously, since there's a support right there, it's there for a reason. It's not just for no reason. All right. But $1.3 million gets you this kind of construction because who do we have on the work sites? Okay. Who do we have on the work sites? Look at this. I mean, what in the world? This is crazy. Totally crazy.
Well. All right, so that's water coming in from the roof.
Yes, those were ceiling joists. Yes, they were.
Roofing system.
And we have water coming in from the roof. Now, clearly, they're still in the process of construction, but it looked like there was a roof on top. So if you already have the home roofed and it might have been shingle and everything else, why do we have water coming in already as the home is being constructed? This is not a renovation. This is a new construction.
Components above us. It's draining down that back wall, and it seems like a lot. Let's see if it's wet. And it's wet.
Totally crazy.
Mint. Looks like that 2x4 is just a bit short there.
A little bit. That's just a tad bit, little teeny bit.
All right, and here's some rafters that are spliced, just mid-span with no support. Yep. And to be honest, I don't know what's going on here. It looks like a DIY play set in somebody's backyard, but
I think they said, what was that, 1.3, 1.2 million, something like that? Big gap, huge gap.
Measure once, cut twice.
So your toilet goes there. Imagine sitting on that and having some serious issues happen. Either your toilet or that might be a shower drain, actually. I can't tell which one. Probably a shower. Look at this.
Oops, missing a hanger.
So you got your wiring going on.
Some daylight there at the back door. We got another gap. But an easy fix. You just shim that up and you're good to go.
This is a new construction. What was that? 1.2, $1.3 million. So you're paying an arm and a leg, firstborn child, all the tea in China for a house like this. Now, this is a kind of craftsmanship we get for a couple of reasons. The first reason is they're trying to do it. Well, okay, I'm going to tell you there's two reasons why it looks like this. They want cheap and fast labor. And the best way to do it is to get these people that are barely here legally, Maybe they're on a work visa. Maybe they're here straight up illegally. That's what's going on. That's what's happening right now in this country. Okay. You go to a job site, it's going to be nearly 100% Hispanic. They're speaking no English. It may be 2 or 3 white guys on the construction site, and they're going to be the foreman. It won't be anybody else building anything because they want these guys that come across the border that work cheap. So when Barack Obama said fruit pickers and bed makers, Americans can pick fruit and we can make beds, but are we going to do it for $10 an hour? This kind of work right here, $10 an hour, $15 an hour, tops, depending upon where you live. A house, 1.2, 1.3 million in, let's say, California. Oh yeah, $10, $15 an hour all day long. So you could work on that house in the sun and the weather, and it's kind of dangerous, and you don't know how to use hand tools, things of this nature, power tools. You could do something like that, or you can go work at McDonald's. That's kind of that's kind of what it is. And if I'm wrong, y'all let me know in the comments below. But that is kind of what's happening with the migrants, and they want that because it just reduces the cost for the contractor. All right, exactly. Golf and guns, cheap, fast, good. Pick 2. You can only pick 2. You can either have it cheap, fast. Pick 2 of the 3, and only 2 of the 3. Cheap, fast, good. If you got it cheap and fast, it's not going to be good. If you got it fast and good, it won't be cheap. It's simple. Very simple. So if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I think I have one more of those videos, actually. Let's check it out. This one is a little bit cheaper, but still, the quality is kind of rough.
If you get ready to drop $500,000 on a brand new house, you should probably get the outlets to not be loose. That's a beautiful transition that they did between the hardwood and tile.
So this is the finished home.
I would bet my next paycheck that this toilet's loose, and I would be right. That's a nice looking towel rack that they just decided to put a whole bunch of silicone caulk behind to try to get it to stick. Good looking shower stall, but I don't think I've ever seen that much caulk around a shower head. Yes, one of my personal favorites. Whenever they installed part of the tile surround, they didn't even bother to take off the plastic.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I could kind of go on for a while, but I'm going to tell you something. In my neighborhood where I live, I've heard some horror stories from my neighbors about their homes because when I moved in, they were still building them. And the crew that was on there, that was working, all Hispanic guys playing the music all day long. Now, I've heard some horror stories. I've seen some crazy things. One of my neighbors had their backyard dug up, literally dug up because there was a problem with the plumbing. I've heard a lot of stuff, roofing problems, flooding, backing up sewers, everything going on, all kind of stuff. I've had no problems, knock on wood. Now, you know why I think maybe my house is probably one of the best ones that they built. And I'm not trying to be, what did they say? I'm not trying to be, I don't want to be fooling myself or act like I'm some kind of big shot. But when I was looking to buy my home, they were all empty lots. And I'm talking to my man at the front. Shout out to you. I ain't gonna say your name. You my dog. You were very good. Very good. But I talked to my man up front and we get into conversation. And then he's like, well, what do you do? Of course, that's be the main question. And then I told him I got a YouTube channel and I do podcasts and things of this nature. And he looked me up, loved my stuff. So then when I heard from neighbors was that everybody that moved into the community afterward, he would tell, hey, we got a guy, he lives right there. He has a YouTube channel, I swear, on everything. I promise. They told me this. So I think maybe they took a little bit of extra care with my house specifically. And I'm not lying. So there might be a little bit of that black privilege, a little bit of that quote unquote celebrity privilege. And please don't misunderstand me. I do not consider myself a celebrity. If I'm a celebrity, I'm off the alphabet. I'm into something else. I'm below a Z list. But I think that did help. He was telling everybody that came in that we got this guy, he's a big YouTuber, he lives right there. Everybody told me that. So I've not had a problem with mine, again, knock on wood, but my neighbors, horror stories. My next door neighbor, horror stories. Okay, so, hey man, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, man. We got to get a podcast and become popular, I guess. I don't know. But then also, I would come here a lot. A lot of people had their houses built and they live far away. They living in the Midwest, California, overseas even. I was coming up here every, I say 2 weeks to check out what was going on. Sometimes it'd be guys here, sometimes it wouldn't. I would normally come through on the Sunday to check out the process of the house and see what was going on, you know. And if I saw something that didn't quite look right, I would hit him up and be like, yo, what's going on? All right. So that's what that was, man. Sometimes you talk to people and you try to build a relationship. Sometimes it can help you. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far and know what to do, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And here's a question for you guys. Are you going to put the mask back on? Now, I'm not going to do a poll for that question because it's kind of a rhetorical question. I think I know what the answer is. We all know in this community, and shout out to you guys are the best. We all know that the mask does nothing, but the CDC might want you to think that you're wrong about that. They might want you to change your mind about that. So check this out. All right, hold on 1 second. Y'all already heard what she's saying. Get already with a demand. No demands. No, thank you.
Get your updated COVID and flu vaccines and your RSV vaccine if you're over 60.
Now, here's a question. Pause. Straight from the beginning. Did you hear that? Get your updated COVID and flu vaccine. Is it one and the same now? Is the flu vaccine now the COVID and flu vaccine? Is the flu vaccine that you may get if you want to get it, is that the same thing as a COVID vaccine? Was it a whole big plan to make everybody get their flu shot? Because I'll tell you this, I've never in my life, in my adult life, had a flu shot. Never in my, I'm about to be 40 years old. I've never in my adult life gotten any vaccination at all. I think I had a tetanus shot like in my early 20s. I can't really remember. And of course, I had like regular vaccines going to school. Maybe when I was in elementary school or middle school, I had my vaccination last. But I've never in my adult life had a flu shot. And I will always hear about it every year. Oh, you got to go to Walgreens, got to go to Walmart, all this, that, and the third, get your flu shot. I'm like, for what? For what? I ain't dead yet. I'll be all right. I promise I'll be all right. I will be okay. All right. And I'm not the kind of guy that just stays away from the public. I'm always out. When C-19 first popped, I was out. I was flying around. I've been traveling. Yeah, I never had an issue. But let's take it from the top and let's hear this person out.
Get your updated COVID and flu vaccines and your RSV vaccine if you're over 60. It's not too late to get vaccinated if you haven't already. And use additional layers of protection, like avoiding people who are sick, washing your hands, improving ventilation, and wearing a mask. And if you do get sick, I know it's hard, but stay home so you don't spread germs to others. And get tested so you know what you have and you can get treatment. Get your updated.
So what do you think about that? Are you with it? Are you into the whole layers of protection? Like what are you going to do? Are you going to heed her advice? You're going to get the C-19 flu, COVID/flu vaccine? Are you going to get that? Are you going to wear layers of protection? You're going to wear these face masks that don't work? You're going to get fitted for an N95 mask, which you're going to have a hard time breathing. Is that what you're going to do? I don't know about y'all, but I think not. NKM says they mixed the shot with other things now too. Oh, it said they mixed the tetanus shot with other things now too. So you go to the doctor, you get a tetanus shot, and you get in some more stuff. They might even sneak the C-19 in there without your knowledge. If you get the flu shot and all you want is the flu shot, can you get it without C-19 being in there? Or is it a combination? Is it a package deal at this point? You know, how does that really work? I mean, I like to know that, because I feel like what's happening right now, they're doing experiments on people, and then they're coming about 20 years later talking about, oh, if you were affected by this, then call this number. You may be entitled to compensation. How about this? How about you just don't put that in my body to begin with? Or if you would be just transparent and let me know what's going on, then I can make a decision rather than you springing it on me. Don't spring stuff on me. That's not what I'm into. All right. Let's, and speaking about people not getting the vax, not kowtowing to Big Pharma, Novak Djokovic, shout out to him. He famously bucked against the vax. It's like, look, man, if I have to sacrifice my career, if I can't play tennis, if I'm going to lose some money, then so be it. So be it. I'm not going to have you force these things on me. And he stood by that. He stood by that. Now, let's check it out right here. This is him on 60 Minutes. There's going to be a full interview of him coming out tomorrow evening on CBS 60 Minutes. No advertisement. I'm just letting you guys know. All right.
Correct me.
Let's check it out. And here we go. Throw it on the screen right there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were not against vaccination. You just did not want it for yourself.
Exactly. People try to, declare me as an anti-vax. I'm not anti-vax. No, I'm pro-vax. I'm pro freedom to choose.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were not
100%. I'm the same way. It's like, look, if you want to get the vax, go ahead. You do what you want to do. It's your body, it's your life, it's your choice. However, don't force me or anyone else to get it if we don't want to get it. Let us have that ability to choose. You can choose, so can I. Whatever you want to choose, that's your decision. That's your choice. If you like to smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, okay, cool. Now, if you want to get behind the wheel of a car while you drunk, that's something else. But you want to be in your house drinking, okay, it's whatever. Now, we put certain little rules on things, okay? But if you want to get the vax, you go to Walmart, CVS, Target, wherever they got it, and you get it, cool. I don't want it. So, again, that's a quick snippet of Novak Djokovic. He's going to be on 60 Minutes tomorrow with a full interview. So, shout out to him. Shout out to him. All right? And shout out to Aaron Rodgers as well. Did he ever get it? I don't think he ever got it. I don't think he ever got it, or Aaron Rodgers. And obviously, he was right from the very beginning. He was right from the start to not get it. I mean, and most of us knew that. We knew that from the start. Right when they were talking about it, I don't care who it was. It could have been Trump. It could have been anybody. It could have been, I don't know, man, a genie in the bottle. I don't care who it was that said, hey, you should go get the shot. It's safe. Okay, cool. But it just came out. My common sense, my logic says when they introduce a brand new medication, drug, vaccination, whatever they want to call it, a brand new chemical compound, and they want me to put that in my body, I might want to think twice. I might want to think twice and just see how it affects people. I don't want to be a beta tester. And if you guys don't know what that is, basically, when you're talking about video games or a new product that's not in its completed form yet, that's just come out to market, it'd be in beta form. And you test it to get it to a point where it's ready for the general public to consume. All the bugs and the kinks and the issues and the problems, you test it out. Software, just regular software, beyond video games. Software you use, like I use all the time, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro. They have beta versions, even of stuff like OBS, Chrome browser. You test it extensively to get all the kinks out and then put it out there to the public. I don't want to test drugs on my own body before they're seen as suitable for the public. Remember the Johnson & Johnson vax? Remember that? And then they pulled it talking about, oh, it's got some problems. I didn't want to be part of that group that got that. And then I'm identified as a guy that has problems. And then after I already got it in my body and then it caused permanent damage, then they wanted to pull it talking about, oops, sorry about those side effects that you got to have for the rest of your life. When you're talking about corporations and businesses, they may see you as a number, okay? They gave out, let's say, 100 million vaccinations, just for a round number, easy number to deal with. They gave out 100 million vaccination, and of those 100 million, there might have been 10,000 vaccinations with adverse side effects. Now, to them, that's a fraction of a percent, so it's not really a big deal. To them, it's a win. Maybe it was 100,000 that had adverse effects. It's still not that many in the greater scheme of things. That's like 1% of the total vaccinations. But if you're part of the 100,000 and your life is ruined, now what? Now what? Maybe you get a settlement, but you probably won't because they can't be sued because of what you signed to get the vaccination. It's the evil world. But I digress. That's why I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Now, if you come with studies and all kind of things that say this is guaranteed to work, you'll be just fine, then that's something different. Like eating a piece of food. Okay, I know that if I eat regular chicken, fish, beef, and it's clean, it's not going to just delete me. All right, I'll be okay to eat this food. It's not poisonous. If it's proven to not be poisonous, then I'm good money. But if I don't know, it's a brand new thing, I might want to wait until they can discover whether it's poisonous or not. But let's keep on going. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, I have an interesting video. Maybe I'll do a video on it about this guy in New Jersey. Okay, this guy in New Jersey, a white guy, was hurling racial epithets, slurs, whatever, at his black neighbors and got 8 years in prison. You see that headline and you think that's too long for what the headline says, but there's more. It wasn't just racial slurs. This guy was doing everything. First of all, he already been to the penitentiary and is a felon. He had a slingshot. Listen to me when I say this. He was shooting BBs at his neighbors' cars. And this went on for like a year or more. It was a long time this went on. But he was shooting at his neighbors' cars with BBs. He didn't have a BB gun. This man had a slingshot like Dennis the Menace. It's like, sir, you bought 40-something years old, 50-something years old. You got locked up in the 90s and got out with a felony. Here you are in the year 2020, the year of our Lord, 2020, 2021, with a slingshot shooting BBs at your neighbor's cars for what? He had shrooms in this house, and they said he had so many that he got a drug charge and he had intent to distribute. So you got shrooms, you got a slingshot with BBs, and he was flinging doo-doo on his black neighbor's porches. Now, I don't know if it was human, if it was animals, if it's a combination, a little bit of a surprise package, you just throw that on somebody's porch. I'm not sure. But it was not just the racial slurs. That was just the icing on the cake. That was what went viral. What did not go viral was him slinging the slingshot like Dennis the Menace with BBs on people's cars. What did not go viral was the fact that he already had shrooms in this house and he had been to the penitentiary and he was a felon already. They ain't see all that part. They don't see all that. And they didn't see how long it had been going on. So for all those things, and I think the biggest thing was probably the drug charge. For all those things, he got 8 years in the penitentiary. Now, here's the actual video that went viral. I think it might have gone viral a couple years ago, but he just got sentenced to prison time recently. All right. Yeah, the neighbor from hell, the worst neighbor ever. The worst neighbor ever. Okay. Shout out to I got the best neighbors ever. These guys are fantastic. Amazing neighbors. Beautiful neighbors. Perfect. But this guy right here was a nut. I don't care if he's black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. It doesn't really matter to me. But the reason why the video went viral is because of his race. But let's watch it. All right. You may have seen this a couple years ago.
Touch him! Touch him! Touch him, Pino! Put your hands on me again. Touch him! That's twice. Touch him! Twice. Touch him! His name is Brandon. Pino. Put your hands on me one more time. Oh, you put your hands on me. Come close. Come close. Right there. I know. Right there. Come close. Right there. Come close. The jerseys. Back up. Come close. Back up. Keep backing up. Back up. Don't touch me. Keep backing up. Don't touch me.
Look, man, don't nobody got no time for this. And this is in suburban Philly.
Don't touch me. Pino, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't give a about you. I give a about them. So you get the out of here.
Okay, I have every right to be here like you do.
Oh yeah.
Just like he does right here. This is called common property.
I don't care.
Okay, well if you don't care,
walk away.
Learn your law.
Walk away.
It's not Africa.
Oh, this is Africa.
It's not Solomon or wherever you were.
I was born in America.
Well,
so
then you know what common ground is.
Oh, and by the way, the excuse the guy had, the white guy, who, again, is now in prison, the excuse for all this behavior that went on for about a year or more, he said that he was drunk. So were you drunk the entire time? Are you also an alcoholic? I mean, my man, maybe what you should do in prison is enroll in AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and deal with your addiction. You got shrooms going on, alcohol going on. You on some Dennis the Menace, slingshot and BBs, people's cars. And then you got a bag of doo-doo. Where'd you get that from? Do you have a dog? Or are you just, copping the squat in the bag? What's happening?
I don't give a about you.
And what you're watching right now, NKM, this guy got sentenced to 8 years in prison because of these kind of interactions. The headlines will say that it was because of racial slurs, but really he was doing a lot. But this video went viral about 2 years ago, and that's what caused a movement behind getting him arrested, because people showed up to the neighborhood and they were protesting and everything else because of this. But there was much more to the story.
You can't be saying that was go out, go back to your house, go walk your dog, go do your
You have no idea what you're getting involved in.
Don't talk to me.
And if you want to be involved in this,
Don't talk
I'm going
to
to talk whoever I want.
Exactly. Don't talk to me.
If you want to get involved in this,
Don't
you know
talk
what
to me.
happened to the last one?
I know what you did. You broke that window. So
Windows. Dude,
I don't care.
Cookie's windows got shot out with a shotgun.
I don't care.
222s to the front
I
face.
do not care.
In Cherry Hill, the daughter got smashed.
Exactly. I don't
Is that
care.
what you want? No. And you want to know where I was when all this happened?
I don't care.
At work, monkey.
I don't care where you were.
At morgue. Just like I told the Mount Laurel police.
At where? At Mork and Mindy? Like, put the alcohol down.
These monkey out of here and you can't do Hey, White, why are you back over here?
Somebody called me.
So you see what's going on. Now, I'm going to show you the article right quick that people are responding and reacting to now, and they say he got too much time. I think the time was probably appropriate because of all the other things. If it's just harassing, just words, that's something else, but that wasn't what was happening. So check it out. So New Jersey man, Edward Matthews, sentenced to 8 years in jail for hurling racial slurs at neighbors in viral video. That headline is incorrect because it wasn't the racial slurs. It was all the other things. You already been to prison before. You are a felon. You got locked up in the 90s. You too old to be doing this. You had bags of doo-doo slinging it on your neighbors' porches for at least a year or more. Then you were shooting at their windows and the cars with a slingshot with BBs, and you had shrooms enough to where they said, okay, now you got intent to distribute. That's the reality of this headline. So when you're reading some of these articles and whatnot, the headline can be very misleading. But I move on away from that. Yeah, the shrooms and the alcohol and all the other good stuff, that might be a bad idea to make it be a combination. So this guy is 47 years old now. 47, way too old to be doing that. All right. And we'll keep on rocking here. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And here's a picture of the actual protest that happened back in 2021 after the video went viral. And I covered that back then, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not quite sure I remember the protest, but I do remember that video very well. That video was super viral back a couple years ago, but we'll keep on rocking here. And we have some more. Now, speaking of the community and neighbors and things of this nature, have you guys seen this? Now, Atlanta, what's going on? Can we examine all the hookah bars and the restaurants? What are you guys putting in the hookahs? What are you guys putting in your shrimp and grits? What are you guys putting in the chicken and waffles? What's going on with these nut jobs in Atlanta? Now, a person tried to burn down MLK's birthplace near the old Fourth Ward inside of the city of Atlanta. She had a gas can that was sprinkling gas all over the place, trying to burn the house down. Now, if this was a white woman, it'd be all over the place, front page news. But it was a black woman, 26 years old, all right? And they said that she had been missing for 2 days and she had a mental break and all kind of stuff, right? Now, the people who caught her and subdued her till the police got there, it's a really interesting combination of people. There was 2 tourists from Utah, a white man that initially saw her and recorded her. And then there were at least two retired NYPD officers that just happened to be right there. And they were able to keep her on the ground till the actual APD came there and arrested her. And we have video, of course. Let's check it out. All right, here we go. And that's her right there. What's her name? Lanisha. I'm not making it up. Her name is Lanisha Chantrese Henderson. And you see her right here on the porch of the home spreading gasoline from a jerry can. Now, if you've been missing for 2 days and you're having the mental break, what makes you say, okay, I'm going to go to the Quick Trip, get a jerry can, fill it to the top with 87 regular, and go to MLK's house in Old Fourth Ward and try to light it up? She had the jerry can, gas, and a lighter.
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, that's gasoline.
Was there some type of direct?
So my man right here, this is a retired, I believe, NYPD officer.
Action? Or you just felt like this is what you needed to do? Okay, Cherokee War Chief, what on the earth does that have to do with an MLK? Same mentality, okay?
Cherokee War Chief, what are we talking about?
And that's why he's putting you in a position in which you can
Where are the
still
police?
breathe,
They're on their way.
but you're...
Nobody's trying to hurt you. We just want to make sure the house, nothing happens to it. And
No, we had just.
Yeah, are you comfortable, young lady?
Looking at this crib.
Okay, as long as you can breathe and you're comfortable, we're good.
I got to call my sister and tell her that's
no, it's the police are on their way. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see something like that happening, it's like, okay, what's going on? Why is she on the ground? What's really happening?
Okay, I hear you cooling.
Yeah, the knee on her back. Okay, no, George Floyd, you can't breathe. Luckily, she probably wasn't high on drugs because she might be deleted. But anyway,
It's fine. The police are on their way.
he's concerned. In the F-150, shout out to the F-150. He's concerned. He's like, hey, man, what's going on? I'm going to just stay right here.
Like, there's no emergency vehicles.
Well, it seems like they didn't know the address. Here they come.
Man, they know where the address is. You're talking about MLK's birthplace, man. What are we talking about? This home is under the control of the National Park Service.
I hear something.
And because of that, she might get Fed charges because the federales are controlling this place. Now, controlling it to what extent? Is there any kind of security? I mean, there probably won't be any security like a person patrolling just this one house. Is there any cameras? Like, what's going on?
We'll tell the officer to come down to the precinct.
Here they come.
Opposite direction.
You doing okay?
So yeah, the police get there and then they wind up arresting her. 26 years old, trying to burn down MLK's birthplace. All right, let me read some of this right here. So it was 2 tourists from Utah that saw her, the white guy that was recording and the other person that was talking to her, I believe. And it says, tonight, an unfortunate incident occurred at the birth home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As an individual attempted to set fire to this historic property, fortunately, the attempt was unsuccessful. Thanks to the brave intervention of Good Samaritans and the quick response of law enforcement. Was it that quick? I can't tell. We thank the Atlanta Police Department, Atlanta Fire Department, and National Park Service, and Mayor Andre Dickens. Andre Dickens? Huh? Why? We thank Andre Dickens for leading the efforts to ensure the safety of our cherished national landmark and its adjacent neighbors. Our prayers are with the individual who allegedly committed this criminal act. All right, so that was the official statement from Atlanta. Typical nonsense. if not for the tourists and I think they were off-duty or retired NYPD officers who were right there, that house would have been lit up, on fire. And if she did that at night, it most certainly would have been on fire. All right? Yeah, they were off-duty cops. That's correct. Let me see if I have another, I may have an actual, a deeper story about that particular one. Yeah, matter of fact,
woman is under arrest.
Matter of fact, I might have an interview with him. It says retired NYPD officers thwart woman pouring gas on MLK Jr.'s home. All right, let me see if I can get them on here. Matter of fact, here we go. Yeah, there they go. Watch this.
Both retired NYPD officers who'd been visiting family in Georgia. Tonight on Eyewitness News Extra Time, they described how they stopped to help other tourists restrain the would-be arsonist, putting their old training to good use.
But she starts walking away, and, she was all the way down the block. And we hopped in a car and went after her.
Axel grabbed her and held her on the sidewalk as onlookers called 911.
I asked her why she was doing what she was doing, and she didn't really respond. And, when we said we were from New York, one of the things that, what are you guys doing here?
Wait, she asked you that?
We kind of knew that she was not intoxicated. We didn't feel she was high, but we knew that there was something that was wrong with her.
Atlanta police soon took 26-year-old Lanisha Henderson into custody.
And this is the lighter that was on her?
If she'd used that lighter, a treasured jewel of American history surely would have burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Dr. King was born and spent the first 12 years of his life in this house, which was built in 1895. It's now owned by the National Park Service, which today was clear about how close they came to disaster.
So that's what happened with that. Yeah, 2 retired NYPD officers. Shout out to you guys. I wonder why they retired, because at least the one guy looked pretty young, probably closer to my age. Why did he retire? Is it because of what's happening right now with all this stuff and the defund the police and things of that nature? Is that kind of what's going on? Maybe it is. Just maybe. But shout out to New York. Shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to the white couple from Utah for stopping this lady. Some kind of mental break, and things just didn't go the right direction. All right, we'll keep on rocking here. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. Now, speaking of Atlanta, I'm going to go here and talk about the debate a little bit. I won't play a lot of the clips from the debate. What I'm going to do is show you the reaction of voters who were in Atlanta. There was a watch party that I think MS-13 DNC put on for them out there in Atlanta. And they did a straw poll among themselves to see who won the debate. Now, remember, the debate just happened recently, and you had 4 candidates on stage. You had Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, and Ron DeSantis. Those are the only 4 on stage. Of course, Trump was invited, as he has been to all the debates, but he did not go. Instead, he went to a super PAC fundraiser in Florida. Now, there was a watch party, and they did a straw poll among themselves to see who won the debate. Now, I think you guys know who won, and they know who won as well, but the media will say something different. Let's check it out. All right, let's put it on the screen, and here we go.
NBC News 2024 campaign embed Nnamdi Egwanwu is with Republican voters at a watch party in Atlanta, Georgia. Nnamdi, it's so good to see you. You do fantastic work, and I know you've been there with the voters in Georgia. What are they telling you? What did they think of tonight's debate?
Well, Kristen, getting reaction from voters here in Atlanta was quite easy. They actually organized a straw poll on their own during the debate, and were keeping track of their opinions. And by the end of the night, you had Vivek Ramaswamy out of this watch party of about 30 people getting 5 votes. You had Ron DeSantis getting 2, both Nikki Haley and Chris Christie having a sole 1 vote. And get this, former President Donald Trump, despite not being on the stage, got 18. So that's really reflective of the vibe of the night here now.
So you heard that. Donald Trump was not there, but in the straw poll that they organized among themselves in Atlanta, so you know you got a lot of black folks. In the straw poll, they said Donald Trump won without being there with 18 votes. And the next highest person was Vivek with 5.
Atlanta, but you don't have to take my word for it. A couple attendees agreed to stay after and give us their opinions. And Will, I want to start with you. There was a moment tonight that got a lot of people riled up. What was the moment that caught your eye, that left a mark on you?
What left a mark for me was Nikki Haley being called out for being the warmonger that she is. At the same time, Ramaswamy holding up a notepad saying Nikki is corrupt. And that's going to be something that stands out really strongly in my mind and in the voters' mind. But they talk too much about Trump, a man that wasn't on the stage, but ruled the stage tonight.
Yeah. And Chris, and after
very, very, very well. Very well. So that was their reaction. Again, that was in Atlanta, Georgia. They had a watch party, and they did a straw poll. And although Trump was not on stage, he did not participate in the debate. They said 18 of them, I think it was a total of 30 people, 18 of the 30 said that Trump won without even being there. And the next highest person was Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, if you ask me, out of those who were on stage, Vivek dominated, and it's not even close. The media want to say Nikki Haley won. And even some guys on stage were trying to pump Nikki Haley, and I don't understand. Chris Christie, I got to show that. Chris Christie was trying to defend Nikki Haley. It was weird. It's like, are you trying to become the president? Like, what are you doing? What in the world are you doing? Hold on. Let me play that right quick. Then we're going to get to an exchange between Vivek and Brian Kilmeade. I don't know what's going on with Brian Kilmeade. This guy is a complete nut. Fox News, it sucks at this point. But let's play this. Then we're going to get into the post-debate back and forth between Vivek and Brian Kilmeade. Let's check it out. The simping was unreal. When it, Kirsten, the simping was crazy.
This is the fourth debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America. So shut up for a little while.
I'll take that.
I want to say something else. We're now 25 minutes into this debate, and he has insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence, not her positions, her basic intelligence. She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map that his 3-year-old could find. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in a Republican primary. And while we disagree about some issues and we disagree about who should be president of the United States, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop insulting her.
So I'm going to take this.
I mean, what in the world? My man, are you trying to be the president, or are you trying to just be her vice president? That was gross. I've never in my life seen that on a debate stage. It's like, ain't that the whole point of a debate, is to prove yourself to be the person that the other person isn't, to make yourself be separate from the pack? Isn't that the whole point? So why would that be a negative thing, to say that she didn't know what she's talking about, she's not very competent? That's the whole point of a debate. What are we talking about? That was crazy. I've never in my life seen anything quite like that. That was something totally new for me. Yeah, I can't even really do too much with it. All right. But let me show you what Vivek said about Nikki. Then we're going to get to the post-debate kerfuffle. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, let's, we got that one out the way, then we got that one. Okay, cool. Let's watch this.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you have said it was irresponsible for Ambassador Haley to call Hamas's terrorist rampage an attack on America, and for her to, quote, rabidly shout, "Finish them," end quote. The Hamas terror attack left dozens of Americans dead and was the deadliest attack on Jews since the Holocaust. Why wouldn't it be a good thing to finish Hamas?
Finish them was purposefully vague in a discussion that included Iran, which is what I objected to. And I think it's, as U.S. president, you have to be responsible. What happened to Israel was dead wrong. What Hamas did was medieval. It was subhuman. It was immoral. And we have to call that out for what it is on October 7th. But to say that that was an attack on America fails a basic test. I mean, Nick, if you can't tell the difference between where Israel is and the U.S. is on a map, I can have my 3-year-old son show you the difference. That is irresponsible because it has major consequences, because that doesn't leave room for what actually is an attack on America. So I believe I have the strongest pro-Israel position actually on the stage, even though it's a little bit different than the standard GOP talking points.
I mean, what he said was right on point. Right on point. It's like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and say the attack on Israel was a good thing. Of course not. I mean, nobody says it's okay when people that are innocent just die. Okay, regardless of what's going on behind the scenes or whatever, anybody going to say, yeah, that was a good thing. But that doesn't mean that it was an attack on America, because we are not them. We're not them. It's simple. We're not them. Now, if you would have said some overseas U.S. territory, okay, that's different. But that's not what Israel is, or is it? Anyway, I digress. Now, here's what I want to show you. Speaking about Vivek, this back and forth exchange between him and Brian Kilmeade was crazy. Totally wild. Let's watch it.
But the problem, I just like to know, when this policy, it's just ridiculous on Russia and Ukraine. He says, tell Russia basically they can have Ukraine if they promise not to have an alliance with China. I mean, if there's... can we hear us now? Hey, Vivek.
I can hear.
Vivek, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with Russia taking as much as Ukraine as they want? Are you comfortable pulling all our aid out? And do you really believe that Vladimir Putin will agree not to have an alliance with China?
I think we have to play hardball there and make a hard deal that requires any reneging on that deal to have major consequences.
Like what? Like sanctions, like we have right now?
Well, look, I think that we have to be able to have real consequences, maximum pressure campaign. We have sanctions. We don't have a maximum pressure campaign. And I can go into the details of that, and I have at the Nixon Library and elsewhere. But what I'm saying, Brian, is the clear principles are this war doesn't advance U.S. interests.
Yes, it does.
Russia-China alliance is the top threat that we face.
If you give up Eastern Europe, we'll be in a world war.
If I may ask you a question.
Right.
You asked the question, I want to make sure I answer it.
I'm just going to answer you. It is in our interest.
Detailed contours of a deal. I think it is not in our interest to strengthen the Russia-China alliance, and I think our policy right now is driving Russia further into China's arms.
It's going to be done anyway. You cannot keep Russia from China.
I think Russia is going... I think the answer is we are driving Russia into China's hands. There are kinks in the armor of that relationship. Look at Russia sending weapons to India and to Vietnam after other meetings they've had. This is our opportunity. Nixon did this in 1972, and Brian, respectfully, people like you said the same thing, that Nixon couldn't do it. Well, it takes an outsider who's skeptical of that establishment. That's going to be me.
I was 7 years old.
But we can both, you and I are both students of history, and so I trust you to know that.
Are you comfortable giving up Eastern Europe? Because you know they're already taking Moldova, already making moves on the Baltic already. They're taking more and more pieces of Georgia.
Tell you what I'm not comfortable
and all
with.
we've done is sit there and send blankets and MREs, and we got an invasion. So what is going to be next?
Because we have no idea how Ukraine has spent $200 billion of our money. We're forking over more taxpayer money.
Do you see how they fight? These guys are the best fighters in the...
And I'm not going to stand for that.
Ukrainians are probably the best fighters.
The crowd behind Vivek is clapping, and I'm sure they can't hear Brian. I'm sure that Vivek has an earpiece where he can hear Brian and what he's saying. The crowd can hear Vivek, and the crowd is clapping. I'm clapping. I don't know what in the world Brian Kilmeade is on. I don't know who put a battery in the back. I don't know who wound him up, but this is crazy. I was watching this with my jaw dropped. Like, really, Brian Kilmeade? Is that what we're going to do? I mean, what in the world is this?
In the world.
Ukraine is not some democracy.
Ukraine is fighting for their sovereignty, and they were invaded. They were invaded.
I mean, look, Brian Kilmeade, are you Ukrainian? Are you married to a Ukrainian? Do you love Ukraine more than you love America? Look, I'm not trying to say that people who are innocent don't deserve to live. Everybody who's innocent deserves to live. I don't want to see anybody innocent lose their life. However, at what point is it our responsibility to pay taxpayer money that we don't have? Because last I checked, what's the debt? 32 trillion and counting. We don't have the money, and we're sending billions of it to Ukraine, one of the most, if not the most corrupt countries in this world. Why? For what? To fight a proxy war because we're too scared to go hit Moscow directly? because we know if we do that, it's mutual destruction. The whole world dies. I don't like this. This is part of the reason why Trump won. And the Republican Party and people like Brian Kilmeade, they're trying to move past Trump, but they don't understand the conditions that created Trump in the first place. They don't understand that we don't like all the foreign wars, all the crazy spending, all the endless migration. We don't like these things. Vivek embodies that. Trump embodies that. They like the same old, go along and get along. Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, all these people, they like them, but we don't like them. We, the people, don't like them. We like him, but not them. Let's keep on going.
Ukraine has actually assassinated a former presidential candidate from 2019,
so
but somehow the
naive.
Media doesn't like to report that.
So naive.
Well,
you give
Brian,
up Ukraine, and then in a few years you'll be criticizing Joe Biden for giving up Ukraine.
I respectfully, we can respectfully, Brian, I think that if I called Nikki Haley naive, you guys would be having a conniption. Let's be honest about that. But you want to call me naive? I actually understand what the heck I'm talking about here.
Really?
Nixon did this in '72. We can actually split up the Russia-China alliance and
what
advance
happened,
American interests
I think
and protect
World
our
War
own
II
homeland.
is your better example.
I think it is offensive.
And the thing about it is, Brian Kilmeade knows better than to do this because he knows about television and how it works. He knows about speaking. When you're over talking somebody, it's hard to hear either one. Let's go one at a time. And if you're a TV host and you've been this way for years, decades, or whatever, he's been on television, doing radio and everything else, podcasts, you know how to talk. You know not to overtalk somebody. This was, for me, it looked like an emotional break for Brian Kilmeade. Like he wasn't all the way right in the head. Even Kilmeade's co-workers here, they were trying to get him to calm down. You see it at certain parts of this. They're trying to say, hey, just relax. He was off his rocker.
World War II is your better example. One is a diplomatic approach and one is an active war.
Germany. If you could have...
You heard that? He's like, all right, you're doing too much. Like, I'm going to rewind that. Listen to the lady right there. I don't know her name. I can't remember her name, but you're going to hear her say, okay, all right. Watch, listen.
One is a diplomatic approach and one is an active war.
Germany. If you could have...
You hear that? She's like, okay, all right, you're doing a little bit too much now. I'm not going to let this whole thing play. He was on the edge of his seat, about to like burst out of that Brooks Brothers or Men's Warehouse suit. About to bust out the suit on the set. It's like, my man, this is 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Matter of fact, this is 7:30 a.m. and you about to bust out of your suit. Please relax. It's 7:30 a.m. Let's just chill, my man. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, so your man Brian Kilmeade was really upset because Vivek just simply says maybe we shouldn't be giving billions upon billions upon billions of U.S. taxpayer funds that we don't have to a foreign country to fight a proxy war. At the same time, we're trying to get involved in Israel and we're trying to get involved in Taiwan. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that. I think that's the general thought process of Americans. We don't want to get involved with all that stuff. We're having a hard time over here. The debt is going through the roof. We need to just kind of try to reduce that. All right. Now, speaking about Ukraine, we have another person on a different network basically echoing what Brian Kilmeade said. Now, this is going to be Clinton News Network, Comedy News Network, Crazy News Network. This is CNN. So that the caption here says, Biden budget director Shalonda Young says she is, quote, unquote, stunned Republicans want to secure the southern border before sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. Let's check it out.
We're always willing to have a conversation, but I believe Congress has been talking about this long enough, and I'm happy that the question was called. Unfortunately, people who know the stakes, who are supporters of Ukraine, who are supporters of Israel, decided to put politics ahead of our national security interests. And frankly, I remain stunned by that. We're always willing to have a conversation, but I believe Congress has been talking about this long enough, and I'm happy that the question was called. Unfortunately, people who know the stakes, who are supporters of Ukraine, who are supporters of Israel, decided to put politics ahead of our national security interests. And frankly, I remain stunned.
All right, so there we have it. I mean, at the end of the day, southern border more important than what's going on over there. Like, let's focus on our country first. We got our own problems with crime. We got our own problems with everything else. Okay, we have some serious issues we need to really just address here. Now, keeping on that same page of politics, I got a few more things that I want to show you guys, and then we'll keep on moving. Jamal Bowman. Now, Jamal Bowman is still not trying to take responsibility for pulling the fire alarm. Okay, and I think these people get trained in how to avoid certain questions. They get trained. He's being asked a direct question, and he's simply avoiding it, not even trying to talk about it at all. Let's hear what he has to say. Check it out.
I don't want to belabor this point, but as you can see, my Republican colleague is trying to get into my head and articulate my state of mind, despite my multiple consistent comments to the contrary, despite me not being charged for disrupting a congressional proceeding. And remember, this is a vote to keep the government open. So in a rush to get there, yes, I ran past many Capitol Police officers, but I was trying to get there.
You unequivocally deny that this was an attempt to delay that vote.
Absolutely not.
I just want to make a point. The video evidence speaks for itself. I don't need to get in your head. The video shows you threw the signs on the floor, you tried opening the door, it didn't open, you went and pulled the fire alarm. You ran by 7 Capitol Hill police officers. That is not a mistake. And it took you an hour, by the way, to get to the floor to go vote. So don't say you were in a rush to go vote when you weren't.
Let's get to the more important issues, please. But again, to this point, only some of the video was released, not the entire.
I mean, what more is it to see? You're talking about, oh, well, I couldn't get to I was in a rush to go vote, and it's normally a blocked off space, or it's normally not blocked off, happened to be blocked off that time. And I thought if I pulled the fire alarm, the door will open. But you immediately pulled the fire alarm and walked away. And it took you an hour to get from point A to point B. So if you were in the rush to go vote, why did it take you an hour after you pulled the fire alarm to actually go vote? It's because the whole point of doing that was to delay the process. That was the whole point. And the last time I checked, that is a federal offense. You were trying to disrupt an official proceeding. That is a federal crime you can go to prison for. And the reason why I have to harp on that, and I can't just dismiss it, is because a lot of the January 6 people have been locked up for years because of that very same law. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. It's got to be. It can't just be okay for you to violate that law with no penalty. Or I'm sorry, there was a penalty, but it wasn't even for actually pulling the fire alarm specifically when it comes to disrupting an official event. He got charged for pulling the fire alarm, but not for the disruption. You see, that's two different things. What I wanted him to get was the Fed charge for disrupting the official proceeding. The same thing that J6 guys got. What he got charged with was pulling the fire alarm by Capitol Police, not a Fed crime, if I'm not mistaken. And then the penalty for that was $1,000 fine and an apology, and that was it. Slap on the wrist at best. Slap on the wrist at best. Okay, that's a normie penalty. But the people who are in prison for January 6th got prosecuted under the very same thing that he did on video camera. And a lot of the guys who got sent to prison over that didn't even do anything close to what he did. All they did was just enter the Capitol basically in a guided tour by the police. And then they had their whole lives turned upside down because of what some allegations. I heard about an actor in the movie. I'm going to show that one right quick. An actor in the movie, black guy, got arrested at the premiere of a movie he was in, which is a political movie, by the way. It's a political movie. He got arrested right there at the premiere after 3 years because he was allegedly involved in January 6th. They said he went inside the Capitol. I don't know what they're trying to say that he did beyond just being there, but he got arrested right there at the actual premiere. Let me see if I can find that video right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And we're going to keep on going. There were some more actors that were arrested. Here he is. Let me see. What's his name? You guys know what I'm talking about. Saika Massaquoi. And if I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sorry. Please pardon me. Please pardon me. It says FBI arrests LA actor and Republican Party official over J6. All right. Let me see if I can. Here we go. We got Newsweek. And there we are right here. So that's him in the picture. It says GOP official arrested over January 6th involvement. A conservative actor and GOP official has been reportedly arrested and charged in connection with his alleged involvement in January 6th. Saika Massaquoi, who is first vice chair of the Republican Party of Los Angeles, was charged with misdemeanors, including trespassing, parading, and disorderly conduct. According to Red State, Massaquoi and his wife were returning home. Okay, so they were leaving the premiere. So it wasn't quite at the premiere, but they were leaving the premiere in Nashville when the federales arrested them at the airport on Thursday night, according to a Give, Send, Go account. So when they got to the airport, when they were leaving out of Nashville, they got arrested. So it was in front of a crowd, and it was during the time of the premiere, around the premiere to other premiere. They lead the premiere, so they probably already knew that he was going to be in Nashville for the event, and they decided to go ahead and get him in the airport. They probably wanted to go to the actual premiere, but that would have just been too on the nose, because the movie, it was a conservative movie. I think it was a Daily Wire film. Yeah, it was a Daily Wire movie that he was in. So Daily Wire, obviously political, conservative, and the movie is called Lady Ballers. This is like about the Transformers, the LGBTQ element of P, guys that want to pretend to be women and go play women's sports. It was kind of like lampooning that. All right. That's what the movie was for. And he gets arrested. Boom. And the thing about it is he got his home raided 3 years ago. Nothing came of it. So for the past 3 years, there's been no action. Now, all of a sudden, you go to a premiere, you're getting involved politically. Now they want to go ahead and lock you up. Is it a coincidence? I think not. But again, if you're Jamal Bowman, you could do worse than what he did and get off scot-free. And when you go on TV, you could say, look, don't even worry about that. Let's focus on something more important. Let's focus on what's really important, not what I did. All right. But I'm getting triggered, so I digress. Yep, they raided his home after January because they knew that he was at January 6th. So the federales raided his home back after January 6th. And they didn't find anything, I suppose. So for the past almost 3 years, there's been no action until he got arrested in front of his wife at the airport in Nashville after leaving the premiere of Daily Wire movie. That's kind of how it happened. All right, that's what happened. Now let's keep on going here. This is a very interesting story that I covered this week about a man who voted for Karen Bass, the Democrat mayor of Los Angeles. He voted for Joe Biden, the Democratic, quote unquote, president of the USA. He voted for Gavin Newsom, the Democratic governor of California. This is an LA man, a business owner. He voted for all these people, but yet his business was broken into by like 15 people, no exaggeration, brazen robbery with a stolen vehicle, and the robbery was the burglary was so brazen. The vehicle they used was stolen from an LAPD police impound. I'm not making it up. And they said they can identify it because there was a certain marker on the windshield that says it was in the LAPD impound before it was used to break into the actual place on that night. He says his alarm company called him and he got there before the police got there. But hey, man, you voted for it. Now, let's go ahead and watch this if you haven't seen it. Let's check it out.
Caught on camera at a local construction company in LA's Glassell Park. Several thieves are involved, and tonight that owner tells us he's frustrated.
This whole strip has been broken into. Our neighbors have been broken into 4 times. These guys just got broken into 2 months ago. What are we supposed to do? We're a small construction company.
Ryan Bagley, the latest victim on this Glassell.
You see all these guys? I mean, it's just like they're going to a party. You're going to the club. Okay, let's go 15 deep. And I'm sure there was more than one vehicle involved because you can't all fit into a Kia Soul or whatever that stolen car was. You might be able to get 5, 6 guys if you're lucky. All right. But you got about 50, you got probably about a good 4 carloads of adult males.
Parks
or teen males, however old they are.
Street to get burglarized by several thieves. So many, it's hard to count.
Look at this. Do you see all these people? The guy was like, it's 15 people. And that's the vehicle that was stolen from the police impound right there. The blue, I think it's a Kia Soul.
As you watch them file into and out of Bagley's business, Delta Construction and Electric.
They smashed into our gate over there, smashed their gate into here. 15 dudes come pouring in.
Delta security cameras capturing the destructive mayhem about 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. The getaway car, this blue Kia Soul, Bagley says was stolen from LAPD's impound yard.
The cops just knew that it was from the LAPD impound because of the chalk mark on the window.
That Kia Soul taking out a gate so the hooded suspects could make entry.
That's hilarious. Enzo Bartez says, has you tried voting harder for Democrats? That might be a good thing. Try voting harder for Democrats. That might solve the crime problem in your particular neck of the woods.
You are currently being recorded.
Inside, they took whatever.
Look, they got guitars. Look, now, I'm not a guitar guy. I don't know anything about guitars, but I'll pause it so you guys, maybe you be able to identify the guitars and possibly how much they're worth, how much they cost when you get them from Guitar Center or somewhere like that.
Make entry.
So that's 2 right there. It's kind of hard to see. He has 2 guitars, 1 in each hand.
Currently being recorded.
Another, maybe about 2 or 3 guitars right there.
Inside, they took whatever.
Another guitar. I'm counting at least 5 guitars and just the first few guys that came out.
Whatever they could carry, including music equipment. Bagley and his brother, former.
See these right here? That's 2 guitars right there.
Or band members stored in.
There's 2 more right there.
Inside, you can hear the alarm.
And 1 more. Nice guitar. That might be an electric guitar. That looks really high end.
Alarm and spotted guitar.
Stole 6 of our guitars, a bunch of
6 guitars. Okay.
Studio mics and stuff like that. Rustled some stuff out, some construction on our construction side. They stole a bunch of tools.
Thousands of dollars worth of valuables, demolished doors and gates. Bagley says the alarm company woke him at 5:03 a.m. when the break-in was still underway, and he managed to get there even before cops.
And you know what? It's okay. They stole guitars and other equipment, but it's okay. They want to start a band. They want to get a podcast, and they want to get things going. You know, they were just trying to get bread, right? They were just trying to feed their families. They were just trying to get bread. So the guitars and the mics and all that kind of stuff, they had to have it. And they had to steal the Kia Soul from the police impound and break into his property by bashing into it with 15 people. They had to do it because how else are you going to get fresh? How else are you going to eat?
But the suspects were gone.
And I came in ready to rustle them out of there and just be like,
a band of thieves is hilarious. A band of thieves slogan, that's hilarious.
You know, I wanted to at least take down a few of them.
His business now boarded up, and Bagley is fed up with the break-ins and elected officials.
I voted for Karen Bass. I voted for Biden. I voted for Gavin Newsom. I'm sick of it. It's like at some point you have to give me a reason to vote for you again. Or just do our jobs, make a living, help our employees make a good living, and move on. But it's really freaking difficult to survive.
I get it. I understand. I totally understand. But check it out. You, sir, voted for this. You voted for it. Now, if I go review the footage in Los Angeles, I mean, he could have been there for living in LA for a couple of years or more than that. Maybe he's been in LA for about 5 to 10 years or more. Maybe he grew up in LA. If I go back and I look at footage, sir, of some of these protests and events and rallies and whatnot about Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, defund the police, am I going to see you there strumming the guitar, talking about no more, hey, ho, ho, LAPD got to go? Will I see you doing that at these events? If I see you there, then I don't want to hear a word. I don't want to hear nothing. You can't really complain about what's happening. All you can do is be like, you know what? I made a mistake. I was wrong to vote for who I voted for. And this is kind of common. People get red pilled by reality. They get, what they say? You get mugged by reality. That's kind of that's kind of what's going on here. You're voting one way, thinking you're doing the right thing, looking out for the little guy, but all you're doing is emboldening criminals. You're not helping the little guy at all, because a lot of these criminals terrorize places where the little guy lives. You're talking about some of the homicide rates going up in inner city areas, 25%, 50%, 100% or more. Some of the BLM riots and whatnot, burning down neighborhoods, tearing neighborhoods apart. You think you're trying to help the little guy, but all you're doing is just making life harder for the little guy. So this is your fault. Blame yourself. You can blame everybody else in the world. You can blame Gavin Newsom. You can blame Karen Bass. You can blame Joe Biden. You can blame all these people, but ultimately, look in the mirror. You voted for it. You calling the police are not going to get there until you get there. Why? Because you defunded them. Why did you defund it? Because it's what you wanted. You said defund the police. Now you got it. Now you got it. This is the result of what you wanted. So people that understand how these things work, we saw this whole thing coming. We warned you that it would happen, but you didn't listen. Now you got to deal with it. And if you decide to leave Los Angeles, sir, I hope you don't take that same lefty brain that brought you to LA in the first place, that made you vote for Joe Biden, Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom in the first place. Hopefully that little idiot brain of yours does not go to Phoenix, Arizona, Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Miami, Florida. Hopefully you don't go there and then vote the same way, because we don't want that California mind virus, that woke virus, that ridiculous nonsense, defund the police virus. We don't want that to travel. We want it to just be right there, so you guys can get robbed every day. You could just work hard, pay exorbitant taxes, only to get robbed by the community. That's one more tax. That's one more tax. You got all kind of taxes. You're being taxed to death to the point where you can't eat at all. You make six figures. Good luck being able to make it, because you're getting taxed so much. The other tax would be the crime. That'd be the tax. He said that they have $100,000 in damage. That's your tax. So enjoy. Personally, I don't like that particular part of the country because of the policy. It's a beautiful place in California, except for Los Angeles, except for the streets of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is very ugly. You got to go up in the hills. You in like the city part, it's disgusting. I'm talking about ghetto, like third world country ghetto in certain parts of LA. I was shocked when I went there. I was like, this is the city of dreams. This is city of angels. It's a city of crackheads, meth heads, dope fiends, city of open air prostitution. That's what it is right now. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, speaking about illegal aliens, third world country, things of this nature, have you guys heard about the Army-Navy game? Now, has that game happened yet? Do we have a winner? Let me just, okay, so yeah, shout out to the Army for winning 17-11. They beat Navy at the Army-Navy game. Now, the game was, of course, announced very early. It's an annual event, and people were booking their hotels. I think it was in, what was it in Jersey? Where was the Army Navy game? Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. It was, hold on, y'all. I know y'all know where it was. Army Navy game. Oh, Gillette Stadium in the Boston area, Foxborough, Massachusetts. So that's the New England Patriot Stadium where they had it. So people were booking their hotels months in advance. Back in October, they were notified that a lot of their hotels, at least 70 hotel bookings, got canceled because they had to make room for the migrants. So, okay, you got veterans, you got active duty, a little bit of everybody possibly saying, nah. Look, you can't stay here because we got migrants to deal with. Now, I read an article where they said that they have been appropriately taken care of, meaning those who had the hotels canceled. But were they? If I booked a hotel months in advance, I probably got a decent spot, good location. But now where are you going to put me? You're going to put me in some Crackheadville, USA hotel where I don't want to stay? You know, you got 6 foot tall ceilings, bathrooms are crazy. You got pet rats in there. Where am I actually staying rather than the hotel that I booked that was canceled on me because of the migrants. Now, let's watch some of this right quick.
And in Massachusetts alone, hotels there have actually canceled bookings of veterans and their families for the Army-Navy football game being played in Foxborough this weekend. And those rooms are actually instead housing, you guessed it, migrants. And Senator, tell us about the letter that you wrote this week to the Biden administration demanding action.
Yes, these border patrol, the border policies that Biden has in place, which allowed all of these migrants to come into the United States, has now created an issue even this weekend at America's game, which is the Army-Navy game. We know that Massachusetts has laws in place, one of which is the the right to shelter law, which provides shelter for those that are refugees or illegal migrants coming into the United States. So what's happening now? All of those families that are attending this game on behalf of their midshipmen or cadet, those Army veterans, those Navy veterans that will be attending, even active duty personnel that are flowing into the Boston, Massachusetts area, they have had their hotel reservations canceled. Why? Yes, because of illegal migrants that are being housed by the city, by the state, in these hotels where reservations had previously been made. So instead of watching in the comfort of a hotel room for this Army-Navy game, we're housing illegals. Yeah.
So there you have it. That's what's happening. Now, again, I read today that the people who had their hotel rooms canceled on them because of the migrants were able to find other accommodations. But the question is where? I want to stay right here. That's really an annoying and unnerving thing. I've had it happen to me before. You know, I book a hotel room, and then when I get there, they say, oh, no, I got canceled. Like, I went to one hotel, and I go there. Everything is fine. I checked in. I tried to check in, and it said, no, we called you. It canceled. Like, no, you didn't call me. I pulled my phone out, and I showed my missed calls, and they weren't on there. I'm like, no, you didn't call me. What are you talking about? And then I checked my email, and they sent me email like, what was that? 20 minutes prior to when I got there talking about my room got canceled. I'm like, what? Now, imagine how upset you would be if you arrive to a place or you have plans in advance to go to the game. You got your ticket. You probably paid a lot of money. You got plans to go there. It's a whole family thing. You then are told, nah, your hotel is canceled. And you're trying to find other hotels, and you can't because this is going to be a big event. The whole town, the whole area surrounding is going to be booked up. What are you going to do? Now you're just out of luck. So, yeah, it's a mess. All because of the migrants. Because I think there's a law that says that you have to be housed in Boston or something. I'm not sure how that works because I'm sure there's still homeless in Massachusetts, in Boston, Foxborough, everywhere else. Worcester, I'm sure they're still homeless there at a certain point, but apparently for the migrants, they are just bending over backwards to get some of that good old rinky-dink craftsmanship we saw earlier in that house. But different story, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to you guys over on Facebook. I appreciate y'all for watching. I really, really appreciate you. If you guys like what you're hearing, please give me a share over there as well. I most certainly appreciate you. Now, we got a lot more to get into. The Bodega carry. Shout out to New York City. We know the crime. We know the crime is getting out of control. And at a certain point, you got to do something to protect yourself. And what they're doing is getting the bodega workers armed. And I'm hearing some rain right now, and y'all know how it is with the rain where I live. Sometimes when it rains hard enough, that means the power will go out. So if the power goes out, if the stream stops, you already know what happened. But until that could or could not happen, let's keep on rocking and talk about the bodega workers. Now, this should be a thing you don't have to jump through hoops to get. You should be able to go to the store, get your weapon, and carry it conceal, open, or whatever, because the criminals carry whatever they want to carry. That's the problem. People don't understand. People sometimes when I say that, they be like, how can you say that, ABL? That's very dangerous. It's irresponsible. Why is it irresponsible? Why is it dangerous? Because the thing about it is criminals don't follow any law. They're going to carry whatever they want to carry. There was a guy shot, or matter of fact, it was 2 people shot on the subway car recently in New York City. Now, how did that happen? I thought that you couldn't have guns on the subway or you couldn't have concealed carry. How did that really work? Okay, people are going to have guns regardless of what. So my thing is, let me go buy my gun. I have an ID. I'll pass a background check. Let me get my pistol, pay for it. You know who I am. You got cameras, everything else. You got serial numbers. Okay, cool. So if I go out and I do something crazy, you already know who it is. You're able to track me back. So I can protect myself and I can protect others rather than just being a victim to the criminal element that exists in this world. But let's keep on going to see how the bodega workers did it. And for you guys who don't know what a bodega is, basically it's like a corner store, okay? But a bodega in New York City, and if I'm wrong, let me know, a lot of times you got a Dominican person in the front, Puerto Rican person in the front working. There's going to be a cat in there, sleep on the bread. You know, it might be a couple of rats in there. I'm playing, but I'm not. But basically a corner store. That's what it is. And a lot of the workers have been assaulted. They've been in danger. And they had to figure out a way to defend themselves in New York City. Let's watch.
The United Bodegas of America announced hundreds of bodega workers are now legally licensed to carry concealed guns. The group says this is in an effort to deter deadly crimes from taking place in their stores. Michelle Ross explains.
Owners say that they have created the secret society of gun owners because they're now taking their safety into their own hands. Now, this isn't to have a permit to kill, but a permit to defend themselves.
Anyone that's out there looking to rob us, hurt us, kill us, beware, you may be walking into the wrong bodega because now we have the same firepower you have.
Hundreds of bodega owners in New York City are now legal gun owners. This was nearly a 2-year process, and the United Bodegas of America says it took this long because they wanted to do it safely, legally, and secretly. And the knowledge of which bodega owners carrying a concealed gun will be kept a secret.
That is very smart because here's the thing. You want to do it secretly because not everybody is going to want to carry a gun inside of a bodega. And that's their right. If you don't feel comfortable, guns are kind of making you nervous or whatever, that's your right to carry. It should be your right to carry or not if you want. And when a person goes to a bodega trying to start something, trying to act up, they don't know if Mr. Rivera behind the counter has his pistol or not because it's going to be concealed. They're not going to know till the last minute. Hey, my friend, I got my gun right now. I'll shoot you right now. That's it. My friend, I got my gun right now. I'll shoot you. That's it. They're not going to know till the end. So I like how things are being done secretly just so you're going to think twice regardless of where you go. Any bodega, you might get deleted if you try to act up.
You don't want anyone to shoot you before they rob you because they know you have a weapon.
The announcement was made at the UBA headquarters in Inwood, where the courses are held by duly authorized instructors like Johnny Nunez. He's a retired NYPD sergeant and former police academy instructor.
Having a firearm is a defensive tool. It's a defensive tool. It's not an offensive tool to be used when your life or the life of another human being is, and keywords, imminent danger.
The group says its only intended use is to prevent themselves or someone in their store from getting killed. In 2015, Junior Guzman Feliz, the 15-year-old boy who was brutally murdered in the Bronx, sought shelter in a bodega before he was dragged out and killed. Last summer, Jose Alba was...
Now, I covered this story. I remember that very well, Jose Alba. Now, remember Jose Alba, my man right here, Poppy with the polo shirt on. Remember this story. The story was that the guy with the braids, the black guy, his girlfriend came in there and was trying to buy something and she didn't have enough money for it. Her card wasn't working. And he's like, well, you can't have, you don't have enough money. That's it. You have enough money. That's it. So she couldn't buy it. She gets upset. She calls the Terminator, the boyfriend, the Judge Dredd. Okay. She calls him to come in there. The crash test dummy to come in there. And he hops over the counter and is now assaulting Mr. Rivera. Now, well, that's not his name. Mr. Alba. Mr. Alba pulls out a knife and deletes this guy. And then there was this whole big thing, like he was going to get locked up over that. He did get locked up. So you had to have influencers like myself and many others make videos on him. His story went viral. The Bodega Owners of America, they came out to support him. It was this whole big legal process. And finally, he was freed from jail. And what happened was they said it was self-defense. The guy hopped behind the counter, he was assaulting them, and he defended himself. Now, if Mr. Alba had his pistol, hey, I only got to get up close and personal with you. I ain't trying to be doing all this cutting and slicing. Boom, boom. Take that.
Working behind the counter of a Harlem bodega when this person aggressively shoved him.
See, they go to the girlfriend trying to stop him. Why are you trying to stop him now? Why are you trying to stop him now? You called him. You did not have enough money to get whatever you wanted. I don't even know what it was. Something small, a vape. You're going to make this guy lose his life over a vape for what? I mean, what in the world?
Alba fatally stabbed the man in self-defense.
They're not out here to provoke any incidents. We are trained to de-escalate situations, but we are also trained to use a firearm if we have to.
Barbara Moretta has owned a bodega since 2015. She's considering applying for a license through the group.
When they see a woman, they think they can do everything, you know. But if I have my gun, so I think it's better for the store. And as
if I have my gun, I shoot you, then you die. That's it. You won't come back no more. Because I got my gun. You stay over there, I stay here. So shout out to Ms. Rivera for defending herself. And everybody else, all the bodega owners, and this should not just apply to them. It should apply to everyone. But the point is that they came together as a collective and said, okay, we're not going to take this anymore. We're going to band together and we're going to force our hand. We're all going to get concealed carry and we're not going to tell who has it and who doesn't. But these guys are going to come in here, act a fool. They're going to think twice before doing it. They're going to think twice. Because if they come in here acting the fool, they might get deleted. And it's fine because I'm going to have my concealed carry. It's going to be legal and it's going to be self-defense all day long. So shout out to everybody out there in New York. This should be a thing that everybody gets if they can. And I've read some of the comments. People said that they tried in New York City and it's difficult. It's not easy. I understand. But if you can get your concealed carry, please get it. Especially when you are in a place where you know crime is going to be an issue. Protect yourself. Don't be out there. Don't be defenseless. Don't be a sitting duck. Okay? Do not be a sitting duck. You come in no more, I shoot you. That's it. You going to die? I know go to jail. You going to go to hell? I don't. That's it. So shout out to everybody out there in New York City. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video. Share the video. Do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Do I have more here that I want to get to? Hold on. Do I want to get to the vegan college right quick before we keep on rocking? The vegan college. This was ridiculous. So a college in UK decided to ban meat and dairy products. Now, there was a vote, though. There was a vote. It was a democratic process, and out of about 30,000, I believe, students, or 25,000 students, somewhere like it might have been 28, 29, 30,000 students. Out of all those students, about 775 voted for this measure. So just about 2.8% of the population of students came out and voted on this, and as a result, they're not going to serve any more meat or dairy on campus. Now, here's my thing. Matter of fact, I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to give my 2 cents afterward. Let's check it out. Yes, a vegan college in UK called Warwick University.
Let's move on to Warwick University, Candice. The students there
500 students. There are thousands and thousands of students at Warwick University. 500 got together to cast a vote, and that was to ban vegan and dairy food from all the canteens, all the cafes there. So the rest of the students have got to put up with this. As I said to Alex earlier, as far as I'm concerned, eat what you like. But I won't tell you what to eat if you don't tell me what to eat. How's that?
Fair use, fair use. Shout out to this particular TV program, Talk TV. Fair use. Don't give me no copyright, because don't nobody got time for that.
We're just becoming, I feel like there's such illiberalism, especially amongst the young.
That's it.
The young
That's
are
it.
so illiberal. And it's why can't we just have that culture of live and let live?
Absolutely right.
And it does worry me. I feel like on university campuses, people are learning this, that, you know, you don't tolerate other people's views. And what is it going to be like when they enter the workforce, when they start making policy?
When they become, Prime Minister. Oh my
But we always assume that people go the other way, that they start off young, very liberal, and then become more conservative.
Yeah,
but these people are deeply conservative.
You're supposed to have fun at university. I remember rolling out of Clute. I went to Durham University. Rolling out of Clute at 3 o'clock in the morning, down to one-armed James under the arches.
Yeah.
And I used to get a polystyrene box of deep fat fried bacon, just bacon.
Jeez, everyone loved that. Hey?
Nothing,
or just
nothing
like
better than
cheesy
that.
chips, you know.
These accents are wild. I mean, what in the world? I'm glad I can understand everybody that speaks English pretty well, but some of these accents, I mean, and these words, like, what are we talking about?
It's like after a night out, and no one gave a damn about. No one cared about it.
They say that if you're not left wing when you're young, you have no heart, and if you're not right wing when you're old, you have no brains.
Right.
So it's a similar. But why do you think? Why have young people become so intolerant?
Because I think with the veganism thing, they're brainwashed. And what I find so ironic is they think it's going to save the environment. They think it's going to cause less CO2. They think it's healthier for them. I mean, actually, all of that's wrong. Because first of all, most of the stuff
why don't they care about the
sold in this
students who want to eat meat?
Well, exactly.
That's bloody awful, isn't it? That's bloody awful, isn't it? The vegan. I got to work on that one. The UK accent is not really there. I got to really get that one really tightened up. I got the Nigerian one. Maybe I might get the Spanish one a little bit. I got the Shaq. I got some of the other ones. I got some of the more African-centered accents down pretty good. But the UK one, I got to really tighten up on it.
That's my point. That's my point.
But
I don't care what their argument is. They have no right to impose it on other people.
Well, no, exactly. But they're wrong about it. Most of this stuff is churned out in factories as ultra-processed food. It's deeply unhealthy. And half the Amazon rainforest is being, like, torn down to be replaced by quinoa. So, you know, frankly, they're just getting it totally wrong. And I think a lot of it's down to social media. They're just brainwashed, aren't they?
There's and no pluralism as well. I mean, their teachers, most teachers and university professors these days espouse a certain worldview, and they are just not exposed to any other worldviews. I mean, in the classroom, kids don't get teachers who sort of encourage them to self-express and say what they think. It's sort of reflect what I think.
But you know what? One day, woke is going to be uncool. I was thinking about this last night. Jenna.
We'll see how that works. But basically what happened, like I said, there was a vote on campus, but only about 2.7% of the student body showed up to vote. It was funny. There was a guy who was part of the vegan association on the campus of Warwick University over in UK. And he was saying that they were really aggressive with the marketing. They were there in the public square every day talking about it. And they said they passed out 1,000 flyers. 1,000 flyers is nothing. As I was saying in my video, back in my day, I used to do like club flyers, things of this nature. Guys would routinely get a box of 5,000 for one party. And the party would be at a club, like at a bar. Max capacity, 200 people maybe at best. You get the many people in the club. So for 200 people, maybe closer to 500, depending on if you got a really big spot. Bare minimum 5,000 flyers. 1,000 flyers will get you nowhere. That's like if you're just trying to get in the game, you're a brand new promoter, and you're probably going to flop the first night. You're going to do 1,000 flyers. And you want to put that out there to try and have a vote on whether you serve meat products or not on campus. And then it shouldn't have even been a vote. Why should there be a vote to see if you're going to serve meat or dairy on campus? Why would that even be a thing you vote on? It's ridiculous. And then they think they're going to help the environment. Now, as I said, when you're talking about being a vegan, vegetarian, or whatever, if you want to do that for your own purposes, then go for it. But again, it shouldn't be about you trying to control me and telling me what I can and cannot eat on campus. I'm paying my money. And I came here for a particular purpose. So if I'm paying all this money, I'm going into debt, I'm going to eat what I want to eat at the school campus. All right. You're not going to get in the way of that. But beyond that, they think they're saving their environment, all this, that, and the third. But how many pesticides and whatnot go into the production of your crops? Agriculture is definitely a thing that affects their environment. You can't just think, hopefully people don't just think you just put stuff in the ground and it grows, and the ground there's no consequence to putting stuff in the ground, pesticides, cultivating crops, harvesting crops over and over and over again. That causes at a certain point desertification. That happened all over the world. Happened in Africa. You got parts of the continent that are deserts because they've been overcultivated. It's happening right now in China. In the northern part, the desert is expanding because of over cultivation, over harvesting the crops. All right. Agriculture most certainly affects their environment. And how many insects and little animals have you killed to protect your crops? Because normally, if you got vegetables just growing in the wild, they're going to be eaten by wildlife. Okay, you're going to have your big animals that eat them. You're going to have your deer, your elk, your horse, your cows, all kind of big, tall, small animals are going to eat the grass, vegetation. You're going to have ladybugs. You're going to have pill bugs. You're going to have all kind of little bugs and rodents and whatnot that are going to eat the vegetation, and they're going to be killed by pesticides. Your rabbits and all that kind of stuff, rats, all that's going to be killed to protect your kale, your cabbage, your green beans, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so what are we talking about? And a lot of your things you have, a lot of your ingredients in your vegan products are harvested from animals, believe it or not. Okay, but I don't want to go too far. Palm oil, you're endangering a lot of wildlife in Africa. But again, different story. I digress. So if you think you're trying to protect the environment by going vegan, not really. Okay, not really. If you want to protect the environment and you really want to do things in a more organic way, you should be more in favor of organic farming, not so much of the factory CAFO farming, and you should be in favor of people eating a more balanced diet with reduced portions, because if anything, the problem is we eat way too much food. That's the problem. Reduce consumption. And that'll help out not just the environment, but also our physical health. But I don't want to go too far down the preachy rabbit hole, so I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And I want to add one more thing before we get to the calls and the super chats. Hunter Biden has 9 new charges, 3 felonies, as it relates to the plea deal that fell apart. Remember, the plea deal, it probably was the most sweetheart plea deal ever. The most sweetheart plea deal of all time. He had gun charges in there, tax evasion, all kind of stuff. Now, matter of fact, hold on. I got an article I just saw that I want to show you guys to let you know what this guy was doing with the actual money that he should have been spending on taxes. All right, I gotta find that. Here he is. Now, watch this. Now, Hunter Biden blew $5 million on crack, prostitutes, suits, cigars, and new teeth to the fury of his ex-wife. And a lot of this money that he spent should have been spent on taxes. And he had some fraud in there. Now, one thing that he did was he would disguise expenditures. For example, he had one expense he labeled officially as, I think it was a golf membership or golf expenses, something like that, something about golf. But really, it was a sex club membership that he paid for. This guy was a complete or is a complete degenerate, a dope fiend, a crackhead, and he was committing crime. Listen, if you or I commit fraud, tax fraud, refuse to pay, refuse to file, and then we get a gun while we are smoking crack, while we are an active crackhead, and we lie on the background check, and then we handle the weapon while under the influence of drugs, and then we take the weapon and throw it off behind the school somewhere randomly. If we do that, we go to the penitentiary, Big Rocks, Little Rocks, all day long, all day long. Hunter Biden's lawyer said the only reason why he's being charged with anything is because he has Biden as a last name. No, sir. Actually, it's the exact opposite. The only reason why he's still free right now is because his last name is Biden. If you or I did that, we'd be in the penitentiary, and it's not even about trying to be some kind of political hit job or anything like that. This is just about facts. This is about facts. Going back to the January 6th guys, these guys are locked up for kind of obscure laws, disrupting official proceedings, but Jamal Bowman does the same thing on camera, and there's no penalty. Okay, you lie on the background check, which, by the way, would be a Brady Act violation. And this is the very same law that Joe Biden championed himself in 1993 when he was in the Senate in Delaware. Okay, the same guy who was not getting charged for it, that's his dad. So you write in the law that the country must abide by, that guys done got locked up over, but your son is exempt from it. Your son's exempt from the law that you wrote. Make that make sense. You're a lawmaker, right? You write laws for the whole country. You get laws passed for the whole country. Everybody must be subject to it except for you and your son. Funny how that works. But anyway, he spent a bunch of the tax money that should have gone to pay his taxes originally on this kind of stuff up here. And he was engaging in fraud at the same time. So now he has 9 new charges and I think at least 3 felonies. These are all Fed charges, by the way. All Fed. Everything's federal. The gun charge, the tax charges, everything federal. So the question is, will he go to the penitentiary? Will he go to prison? Will he face any penalty? He was not going to face any penalty. Again, the plea deal, and by the way, the plea deal was crafted in part by David Weiss, who is now a special prosecutor. The special counsel. So David Weiss has got to actually, do some action here. You can't give him this obviously biased deal and then it falls apart and you don't go back and try to fix it. You got to do something. And shout out to that judge who refused to sign the plea deal, Mariela Noriega. Shout out to her. I mean, you got to be a brave person to go against the establishment. Everybody probably assumed that whoever they put this plea deal in front of would sign it. Look, it's Joe Biden's son. Just sign it. But she's like, yo, okay, look at this deal. You got gun charges. You got tax evasion. He was buying crack and hookers. Like, really? And then you want immunity from future crimes? For real? I got to sign this? No, thank you. She was very brave to refuse to sign that plea deal. So now we got this whole big cluster. And I hope that he gets locked up before the 2024 election. That's going to be a big thing. You got Trump going to court, or Biden's son going to court too. And then I hope that Biden's son snitches on the whole 10 for the big guy thing, but that's wishful thinking. So I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Super chats on deck. Then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And let's check this out. Shout out to Apu with a few super chats here. He says, ABL, we know how you just love the IRS. Hate them with a capital H. LOL. So are you sympathetic to Hunter Biden with all his tax problems, seeing that you had your own tax issues? Well, I never really had tax issues. I always was compliant. That's the problem. I was always compliant, but the IRS was dragging their feet. My issue with the IRS that I had was I overpaid my taxes and they were dragging their feet to give me the money back. And then one time I overpaid and they sent me a refund, but they shorted me. I should have got like $16,000. They gave me $9,000. I swear they shorted me. They literally just did not give me the full amount of money. I don't have any children. I don't have child support out there. I don't have any kind of criminal judgment or anything like that. I don't have any court fees. Why are they taking some of my money? They literally just shorted me. So I'm compliant and I get robbed. I'm compliant and I can't get them on the phone to get my money for like a year. Okay. Now, Hunter was not compliant, refused to pay, and engaged in fraud. I didn't do any of that. And he's getting a slap on the wrist. I don't like that. I don't like that. Lock him up. Executive Apple says, ABL, you are street smart and a smooth operator. Rate this plan. Joe Biden pardons Hunter and himself and Donald Trump and all J6ers at one time. Isn't that a brilliant political strategy? What do you think? If he was to do that, I would support it. And the reason why I would support it is because it'll force the media to do some introspection, because you gotta, at that point, throw Biden under the bus. You can't say that it was wrong to pardon J6ers, and at the same time, you don't throw Biden under the bus. You have to. So it'll force them to turn their back on Joe Biden, and then it'll sour the Democratic Party nationally. So that'd be a good thing if they did it, but they're not going to do it. If he did that, that'd be great for us, in my opinion, but it wouldn't be great for the Democratic Party. All right. So shout out to Apu again, who says, you see them college presidents testifying before Congress. They could talk big words and long sentences, but they excuse harassment of Jewish students. Shameful. Yeah, I saw that. And then one person got fired. I mean, I think that might be a little bit overboard, though, because can you not say anything without getting fired? Do you have freedom of speech? I'm not quite sure. Well, you do. You're not getting locked up, but still, I'm not really a fan of that kind of stuff. Apple says, Christmas trees, artificial or real? Artificial all day long. A real tree is too dangerous. It's a fire hazard. It's too much to take care of. I don't even like having small flowers or plants in my house, not inside my house. And also, they bring in pests sometimes. I had a house plant one time in my old house, and it had gnats in it. Like, it was a mess. I had to, like, take it outside. And then I had another. So I had one house plant that had gnats in it, so that had to go. And then I had some natural, like, straw. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It was like a decoration, but it was real. Or wheat. It was wheat. Yeah, it was like, I'm going to show you what I had. So I had something that looked like this. Hold on. So I had something like this. I got it from Fresh Market. Now, what this had in it was moths. I was like getting moths by my refrigerator. I'm like, what is going on? I don't have any. I'm checking to see if I got any kind of cracks, any kind of areas on my windows where there's any kind of draft coming in. I'm checking my doors. I got a door to my garage, and then the front door and the back door. I'm trying to weather strip and things of this nature. I'm like, what's going on? And then I went to the front and I was examining, because the wheat that I had was like different colors. So the moths blended into the wheat. I had like a dark red kind of color in the front, and they were blending in, and they were like real thin, so I couldn't really see them. They were in there sleeping on the actual wheat, and they were as thin as the stalks. I was like, nah, man, I'm not having no more live plant life in my house. They're bringing in pests. Was it egg hatching? Yeah. Yeah, I don't do no bugs or nothing like that. Like, I'm a neat freak. I don't, a speck of dirt on the ground is getting dust busted, vacuumed, mopped, pine saw, all of that. I don't play around. That ain't what I do. I got the cordless Dyson vacuum. I'm using that every day almost. I don't play. So that's what happened. I don't like having the I don't like having organic material sitting around, because it attracts rodents, it attracts pests. Yeah, it was like camouflage. Matter of fact, let me see if I can moss on wheat straw. Yeah, I don't want to show you guys that. It's kind of gross the way it looks. I don't want to show you guys that. But yeah, that's what it was. I didn't like that too tough. Let's keep on going here. He also says, you see baby mama had 0 on her car, hit Kroger worker. I did not see that, but I'm not surprised. That's the same thing we saw with Mr. Alba in the bodega where the lady couldn't afford to buy her vape or whatever she was trying to buy, and then sending the crash test dummy to go get deleted because she was upset. They can arrange your Xbox who says a virus is 0.03 to 0.5 of a micron. There are 245,000 microns in an inch. There you go. That's why these masks ain't going to work. It's like having a chain link fence to stop grains of sand. Like you're wasting your time. What's the point? Think of the Sikh light who says had some bleeding, refused blood because donors may have been C19 vax. I told them to give me the hormones, stimulate my body to make more blood. Well, there you go. Smart man using your noodle. Shout out to Dean Hunt who said, thanks for what you do. Thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Bina for saying, ABL, do you think the hotels are making more money by renting to the illegals? That's a good question. It could be. There could be a thing because they could be getting some government money. I'm not sure if they are making more money or not, or if they're being required by the local government to do that. That's a very good question. But I don't know the answer. But it's possible. And think of the Shell Zan who says work night audit for a few hotels, varies by hotel, probably canceled because of overbooking. We found new hotel and paid for it, so inconvenient to guess. Right on, exactly. All righty, let's get to the super chat. The calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And there's also an email in the description to get into the show using your audio and video right here, bottom left-hand corner of the screen. If it's not working right, don't blame me. Blame the white man. You know it's not my fault. Let's go ahead and get into it. And shout out to you guys on the Facebook as well. You guys can join in. The number's open to everybody. And if you want to do Skype, it's open to you as well. It's all good. All right. Subsidies could be. I want to know how much money is being made from this crisis. That's my question. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill. It's up in A Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I was at Walmart, picking up some dog food for my dogs, and I ran into an ex-coworker of mine. Oh, delightful guy. But when I'm hearing myself back through the phone again, ABL.
Go ahead.
How about now?
You're fine.
No, that's good. That's good. Thank you, sir. So I see this gorgeous young girl, preteen or maybe teenager, beautiful hair. And then, I walk off to the left because I'm going down, make a circle around to go to the defense section. And I'm there in the pharmacy, and one of my ex-coworkers, old coworker from a few years ago, all of a sudden he goes, I thought that was you. And I said, so we got to talking, and we're, I really like this guy. He came from Kenya, him and his wife, and they arrived in Massachusetts. They went to school and got trained as nurses' aides and worked in convalescent centers. He didn't care for that much, so he went back to school and became an aircraft mechanic. He liked that a lot more, and he's really a good guy, good mechanic too. And so then we're talking there, and he brings his daughter around, and his daughter was the girl that had the most gorgeous hair that you'd ever want to see. I looked at her, I said, you're almost as pretty as my girl. But, I just wanted to throw that out. Shout out to him. Shout out to Kenya. You guys are awesome. I can't do the accent. I used to, but I haven't been around him for so long. I still can do the Cameroon accent, but Vivek Ramaswamy is 1,000% correct about Russia and China. He's spot on. And I could say this from a position of knowledge, because I've actually been to Russia, and I worked in Russia for 6 months in 2017. I spent 3 months in Siberia. I'm sorry. I still get a laugh over my company sent me to Siberia. I had a great time there, though. Good people. Awesome people. But then I went to Moscow after that. So I can honestly say that I have more experience at working with and getting along with the Russians and making them see that, no, I'm right. We're not doing but no, they're good people. And China borders, I think, 22, 23 countries. And China has active hostile border disputes with 22 of the 23 countries, to include Russia. And they always have. Communist China has always, because they're always pushing. If they can steal an inch from you, they're going to take it. If they can get your product into their factory and produce it cheaply, they're going to mix up, ground pigeon doo-doo into the mix to save money so they can steal money out of the product. Meanwhile, they take all your dimensions and specifications and everything and produce the right product under their name and undersell it just to make you go bankrupt, and then they own the whole market and charge what they want. That's how they do. Well, and the Russians know this. I mean, come on, ABL. How well do you know your next door neighbor? Probably a lot better than I know your next door neighbor, correct?
Yeah.
Well, Russia's about 6,000 miles away. China's right next door to Russia. So I'm pretty sure they know their next door neighbor way better than we know their next door neighbor. And I don't understand how long people are going to put up with the lies. I'm so grateful that New York City is finally waking up, and Chicago's finally waking up to what I've been saying for 3 years now? Replacement. It's on video. I mean, you have a history on here, and I have a history of calling in. So, anyhow, ABL, God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. And remember, Wimkin.com, free speech platform. Tucker Carlson is also starting to become just a little bit more active on there, and I thought I'd throw that out to y'all. And ABL, you should check it out too. Wimkin.com. You God bless America. Y'all take care. Thank you for being there, people.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Shout out to you guys as well. Let's keep on rocking. 9-5 on the line. I'm gonna speak it to.
Hey, ABL, how you doing? This is Paul from. I'm sorry. Let me turn down my stream. This is Paul from Southern California.
All right,
Christine's over there on Facebook right now. Man, this last caller. Man, I gotta say that is kind of.
Breaking up.
You calling?
Breaking up, boss. Hello?
All right. Are you there?
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
I hear you well now.
Okay. So your last caller.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, man. Little girl's hair. I don't know. Shout out to that guy. He calls in every week. Great caller. But that was kind of weird, man. Kind of
okay.
crazy.
All right. But let's not talk about that kind of stuff. But I understand what your point is.
Okay. So anyway, the guy.
You're breaking up really bad, man. I don't know what's going on. Are you in a closed area or something?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, shout out. Hey, I wasn't trying to silence him. It's just he had a bad connection. Shout out to the caller. Let's keep on going here. Let's go. One second, you on the line? 617. You're on the line.
Hey, how you doing, NBL?
What's going on?
Hey, so you were mentioning about that for the YouTubers. They say that Ramaswamy won the debate.
I'm not sure if I said that.
Hello?
I'm not sure if I said that. I think I said that I was talking on the stream earlier. I think that we know who won. I'm not sure about YouTubers.
Well, I mean, that's what I was hearing from most YouTubers. I'm not saying you alone, but Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, the Black Conservative, the Twitter, all you guys, right? But
Yeah.
This is the problem.
What's the problem?
This is the problem. The issue is that you guys love Ramaswamy because he's repeat the same thing that Trump said.
Like, okay, so what did he say that we agree with that Trump said?
Well, he let me give you one area. He say that the January 6th event, it was since he believed it was an inside job. Well, I mean, I'm sure that most Trump supporters, we agree with that because they disagree that these people went there to cause trouble. Like I told you before, I don't believe that every single one of them was cause trouble. Some of them were bamboozled by Trump because Trump told them that the election was stolen. They believe it. They went there. They didn't even know why they went there. But the bottom line is that they got bamboozled. But some of them were doing bad actions to overthrow the election. And that's an insurrection. You go against your own country, and that's considered to commit acts of insurrection. You can't, if the election is being verified by the states, and it needs to be verified by the federal government, and you intervene, you want to cause a problem to stop the process, you insurrection against your own government, period.
Okay, so first of all, I'm not quite sure I ever heard him say that about January 6th. I'm not saying he didn't say it, but I'm not saying I said it. Excuse me, sir, be quiet when I'm talking. I said that I'm not sure I heard him, but I'm not saying he didn't say it. My point is that that's not the reason why I think that he won, because I don't even remember him saying that. I think he won because he was the best person on stage. I think he had really good points that he made, although that point was not even in my equation.
Okay, let me give you another point that he said, and I'm gonna go with the one that you like. Okay, so then he said that the replacement theory is something that should be in an open debate. This guy is the stupidest person to say that.
Now, have I said anything
because
about? Excuse me. Have I said anything about the replacement theory?
No. I'm not saying you. I'm saying
wait. Excuse me. You said that you're going to say anything that I like. So have I said it?
No. I'm not.
Let's. If you're going to say that you're going to say a thing that I like, let's try saying a thing that I actually said. Did you watch my video on it?
Let me go to the two things that he said I like. The one he said I like that he said to Nikki Haley, and he told DeSantis, and he said to Chris Christie that they didn't know the names of the two provinces that Russia took by force, that is Donetsk and Lugansk, right? And Crimea. He said, "Oh, you didn't even know those the two provinces that he took. And most of these peoples are Russian. They are not really Ukrainians." And Ukrainians doesn't want to include them. That's not really a democracy. You should not be there fighting. But that's just cheap talk, because that's not a policy.
Is he lying?
Well, it is true in the sense.
Okay, so
what's
that's
not a policy.
See, the whole thing is, what he was saying is that Nikki Haley does not know the name of the provinces where she wants to continue funding and possibly even send American troops to go fight. She don't even know where these places are. She can't even name them. She can't say Luhansk and Donetsk and the Donbass and everything else. Not Crimea, because that was under Barack Obama. I'm talking about the more recent places. You're talking about that's being fought over right now in the far eastern part of Ukraine and the far western part of Russia. She doesn't even know where these places are. She can't even tell you where they are, like the names of these places, but yet she wants to continue funding it and possibly sending our troops. That was the point, and I agree with that. And you said that he didn't lie, so you agree too.
No, but this is not policy. What
do you mean it's not policy? What do you mean it's not policy? Because the policy is we're spending taxpayer money to go over there, and we may send troops to go over there. How is that not policy?
But do you know what? We know why we're spending money over there.
Excuse me. The question was, how is it
not policy?
Excuse me. The question, answer my question, please, sir. The question I had was, we're spending money and we could possibly at a certain point send troops. So how is that not policy? That's exactly policy.
That's not policy because...
Yes, it is. What are you talking about? The policy, like you got to pass laws and you got to be able to pass funding through government to be able to send money over there. That's policy. Let's stop playing games. Please. Let's move on to something else.
Okay, so you want to keep talking over me. Okay, so can I talk now?
Yes, I sure can. I said let's move on to something else.
Okay, so if we don't support Ukraine, I think we should be a resolution to that. I don't know what is the resolution. Problems are not easy to solve sometimes. If Ukraine decided to continue taking more parts of Ukraine and decided to go after Poland or Lithuania, that's what Putin said. He wants to go back like the old Russia. Putin right now is running as a president by himself. No one is running against him. He says he's going to run, but everybody's afraid to run against him because they might end up getting killed. If he hits Poland or hits Lithuania or Latvia, those are NATO allies. Do you know what it means? If you hit a NATO ally, it's like you hit the United States.
Okay, so
that means we will have to go.
Excuse me, sir. What's stopping him from hitting Lithuania right now? If you want to hit
because us.
And but look, excuse me, sir. You said that what if he wants to hit Lithuania? He can hit Lithuania right now. He doesn't need Ukraine to hit Lithuania.
Let me give you an example of what he can do.
The question is very simple. Excuse me, answer the question. Why would he need to have Ukraine to hit Lithuania? Lithuania borders Russia.
What about if he takes over deeper in Ukraine and he decided to move his nuclear arsenal close to Poland?
You don't understand.
And Poland decided. Let me explain. If Poland start complaining, let me explain.
No. Excuse me, sir. Quiet. Do you know that Russia also borders Poland? Do you know that?
That's what I just told you. If he moves his nuclear arsenal towards the border with Lithuania and Poland.
No. You're not listening. You're not listening. Russia borders Poland now. Russia and Poland share a border. He doesn't need Lithuania.
But he have to do it towards taking Ukraine. Have you seen the map?
No, you don't understand. Russia
already. Oh my God!
Russia, you're not listening. Russia.
If he takes
okay,
over
excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Quiet.
Closer.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Where is the border between Russia and Poland? Do you know?
Look, I'm gonna move on.
Excuse me. No. See, I got you. You forgot about that, didn't you? You forgot about that, didn't you? Where is the border between Russia and Poland?
It's close to Ukraine.
No, it's not. No, it's not. See, you don't even know what you're talking about. I got you.
Do you know where's Russia?
You don't know. Do you know? Excuse me, sir. Do you know where Kaliningrad? Do you? Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Look, listen. I'm not going to overtalk. I'm not going to be screaming and hollering. I'm going to just hang up if you can't just be quiet for a second. All right. So have a good night. Thank you for the call. Now, what he was telling to understand, or maybe he just doesn't really know, you don't need Ukraine to hit Poland. Russia already borders Poland. And they border Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, etc. Can I show you guys a map right quick? Just briefly. Just briefly. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, let's check this out. I'm gonna show you guys a map. All right. I mean, come on, Bing. Like, I don't got time for this. Like, don't give me no artificial intelligence. Okay. I'm gonna just show you guys a map. Here we go. And let's throw it on the screen. So here we go. Now, okay. Here's Russia right here. It's kind of a bad map. I gotta show you guys a regular map. Give me a second. Let me see if I can do something else here. Oh, that's better. We got lines. Okay, perfect. So you see Russia, this big territory over here. Now, Lithuania, you right there with Belarus. Belarus is a Russia ally. Then you got Estonia, Latvia. That's right there. That's Russia. They're bordering Russia. Okay, and then you have Finland. Of course, shares a big border with Russia. Or I say Petersburg. Now let's go to Poland right quick. Now, Poland, you see that little piece of land right there in between, what's that, Lithuania and Poland? That's Russia. Kaliningrad Oblast is right there. That's Russia. So they're right here already. And they got, you could go Baltic Sea, all that kind of stuff. So you could go St. Petersburg down to here, or you could just go from Kaliningrad right here. So what are we talking about? Why do they need Ukraine to hit Poland when they could just go from the Baltic Sea, from St. Petersburg, or from Kaliningrad right here? What are we talking about? And they got a thing called planes. You could just fly. How dumb. Anyway, let's keep on going. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. 707 on the line. Who am I speaking to? Okay, 707. I don't know what happened. Let's go. 859. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yo, ABL, how's it going? Hey, I was going to ask you, enjoying the show, watching the show, man. You read a lot about political theory and stuff like that. And like a lot of like political philosophers, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, it's a weird question, and I keep on hearing I keep on hearing this talking point from the left and the right, and I kind of scratching my head and I'm like, wait a minute, I never heard of this person ever talk about this subject. Karl Marx. Have you ever read anything about Karl Marx?
Yes.
Of all the things I read through Karl Marx, he talks mostly about poverty and the working class. He mostly talks about that subject. I never hear about him ever talk about race, but all these activists, they bring race in his name at the exact same time, and I'm like, but wait a minute, he didn't say that. Is it because these people don't know what Marxism is, or they just haven't read anything, or I'm confused?
I mean, a lot of historical text gets bended to the people that are reading it now, and they make it fit whatever they want to fit.
I mean, that does makes sense. I mean, he did mention about minorities, but a lot of those minorities back in that time period, like the 18th century in Germany, was like maybe Jewish people or gypsies. But I he lived in like 18th century Germany. Where was another minority around? I don't know what they get this ideology from. And I'm kind of scratching my head. It's like he mostly talks about poverty issues, and not a fan of communism. Actually, I think communism and his solution was a terrible idea that caused like so much death and destruction. I mean, granted, I think a lot of his philosophy, he was right on. He was right about the problem, but wrong about the solution. So that's what I was calling up about, and I was just kind of curious about it because I hear about this. People bring up, sexism, racism, and this classism, and then they bring up the LGBT, and then they bring up Marxism, and I'm like, when Marx ever brings this stuff up? I'm confused. But hey, thank you very much for taking my call, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Hey, no problem, man. Enjoying the show, man. You Luciferian Libertarian friends here. See you.
All right now.
Bye.
Shout out to the caller. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. 707, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Margie, and I'd like to remind everybody to like, share, and what's the other thing? They'll figure it out. I really appreciate you have so many subjects to choose from, but I was going to choose the Bodega people, and I found out it actually connects to the vegan folk. And I'd like to speak on the Bodega people first. Okay, everybody, this was successful. This was a place where these people were not rich people. They weren't born to greatness. They were individuals who decided they had a common cause, just like our forefathers here. They had a common cause. They didn't appeal to any other government. They knew they had to get some permissions about something. But the first thing you bring to a politician, they don't know anything. You're going to find out they don't know anything, and they're not going to help you. They're going to throw up impediments and find reasons not to let you be free. Now, what they did was they defined a problem, and that was unfortunately fortunate in that they the powers that be weren't getting annoyed because people were making up a fuss, and it was costing them in glory and in money. And when you start messing with both, that's a bad situation. So they looked for the answer, but these people already had it, and they went with a proposal. They took away the government's ability to do anything but rubber stamp them. They already had the training. They had the people. They had a really good kind of like whack-a-mole approach, like figure out which one, Russian roulette style, about which bodega is not going to be protected. Mm-hmm. They had that together. And then they went to these people, and that's when they could get the glory. They had nothing to do but to, snap photos and pick their teeth, So that's what I think is the wise person will analyze this and encourage it within their own communities because, it's a wild, wild west everywhere. So that's what I want to say about that. And if I may, I'd like to talk about how that exact same situation could be used against them. They show you how they can do it. They're noisy, but I'm saying everybody got to be smart. You cannot play the fool because that's what happened with January 6ers. You cannot play the fool. But anyway, my daughter went to SF State, and they were crazy, and she was eating crap. And she turned vegan, and I'm telling you, you're not getting the nutrients the way they're being prepared, the cheapest ingredients, and all your particulars. Are you taking meds? Are you on antidepressants, which deplete so many vitamins? And there you are, not getting your brain chemicals, everybody. Don't fall for that vegan stuff. You got to be rigorous, and your body has to be able to assimilate it. Not always the same. Especially with processed food. Are you going to grind your own wheat before it gets moldy, unfortunately, right? So that's what I'm saying, ABL.
Right on. Well, I thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. I do too. Keep it up, everybody. Be cool.
All right.
Thank
you. Great call. Yeah. Right on about the whole thing about being a vegan. I did that for a while, for about 2 or 3 years. And it's, I don't know. Really, I think ultimately what you do is end up getting a lot of carbohydrates, and it's not really a good balance. But maybe, some people can do it better than others. And I think what happens is sometimes, and shout out to all the vegans out there, don't nobody get triggered or offended. I think some people be kind of dipping and dabbing a little bit in the get a little piece of chicken here and there, a little hamburger occasionally, just a little dip and dab. And I don't think it's 100% veganism. But that's just my humble opinion. I could be wrong. Shout out to all the vegans who've had success with the program. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? It's JV Scratchman, Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
No, not a lot. And it's, there's a lot going on, a lot to discuss. I got a couple of things. I haven't bothered to watch any of these Republican debates because I think they're totally pointless. And none of them have a chance of winning. And with Chris Christie totally simping out over Nikki Haley, I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, that was really crazy.
That is crazy, yeah. And Vivek, he's gained the popularity, but he's still not even close to Trump. And I don't think he's ready. He's not presidential material yet. Maybe, 4 to 8 years from now. But I think what he's doing, I think what he would be good at, though, is White House press secretary. Because he is good about, speaking the truth and, challenging the media. So I think that would be a good, starting place for him. But either way, that's and I think it's hilarious that Trump is winning all these debates without even showing up. Yeah, you guys are wasting your time.
Right on.
But then I was going to, one other thing. I live here in the Midwest, at the heartland. There's farmland all over the place, whether it be corn, soybean, those are like the two main ones. And you drive by these fields, and then you see like these signs like brought to you by this company or that company. It's like you can't grow anything on mass production level now unless you get these special modified seeds from these big companies. And I mean, I used to grow my own gardens a lot, like ever since I was a little kid, you know. Me and my grandpa, we grew fields of watermelon, fields of corn. But now, last few times I try to grow stuff, like you just go to Walmart or a hardware store and buy a package of seeds, none of that is taking anymore. Like, you'll get to a certain point, and then it'll just die out. Man, it's almost as if they don't want people to grow their own food also.
Right on, man. But I'm going to get to a few more calls, so thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Later, dude. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, now. All righty. Shout out to my man. Take care of yourself, boss. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. The number to call, you guys on the Jordan, 434-658-1220. Let's go to 215. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, ABL. How you doing?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Nothing much. I just tuned in for your show tonight. I'm glad I was able to make it. But I want to get to the point. I want to ask you this question. I like what you said earlier about the humans eat too much because a lot of resources are being drained because humans eat too much. I'm sorry. Did I get it right?
Yes, that's part of it. People eating too much consumption, that definitely causes resources to be drained.
Yep. Yeah, I believe it. And you know, it's funny because how a lot of people want to get rid of oil and gasoline, but most people are forgetting that we want to permanently stop the usage of oil, but most people don't forget oil is not just used for cars and vehicles. I mean, oil is used for multiple products. Like, people forget these females, most of their makeup products are made from oil.
Right. Yeah, exactly. People don't understand, like, plastics, everything, like the whole world at a certain point. Modern society, they don't really get it. They have no idea. They just go off of what they're being told by certain special interest groups.
Exactly. And the fact that they said, well, the polar ice caps are melting, so, you know, the whole global warming nonsense crap. Oh, well, the polar ice caps are melting. Well, I think they tend to do that when the seasons change. And then when it gets cold again, they tend to freeze over and it get, you know, more like you said, more glaciers form, more polar ice caps form. Sorry, I'm stuttering.
No, but you're right, though. That's usually kind of how it goes. But people, you know, they tend to ignore that for some reason.
Yeah, I guess because they don't want to. It just goes against their little personal narrative, what makes them feel good. But then they wind up finding out, like you said, with the Teslas, all these electric vehicles, it's going to use up more resources. And it's just going to, because most of those batteries, they're made up of coal and limited resources that you have to pull from certain countries. You said that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something about some of these people that's in the LGBTQ community. Before I was even in politics, a lot of people, I used to be friends with a lot of people who used to treat people so poorly, were very disrespectful, just was always causing a problem to certain people. These are the kind of normal people you wouldn't be around. People who are manipulative, extremely controlling, and people who tend to be like troublemakers. And you know, it's kind of ironic. Like, after all this 2020 election, I found out that most of those people from my past who were like that, they're all LGBTQ members. And I said to myself, I'm not surprised that they are, because most of them people, they weren't good. They weren't really good people. Now, I'm not saying everybody in the LGBTQ community are bad people, but I'm not surprised these particular people joined that group because they weren't good people. And there's a lot of people that's in that group that's typically not good people at all.
Right. Yeah. They kind of hide behind that whole thing.
Yeah. I've noticed that because, I mean, you're talking about, these are the kind of people, they would wake up early in the morning just to fight and argue with people, just to stir up a bunch of drama for no reason. I mean, you'll be upstairs, you hear them like 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning yelling every single fucking day. Oh, excuse my language. Sorry. I didn't mean to curse.
I got you.
But yeah, yelling every single day about something small. Like the fact that you even wake up that early, 10 o'clock in the morning, not even that, like 8 o'clock in the morning, just to start a fight every single day. That's a miserable person. That's somebody who's extremely miserable.
Yeah, because you, like, as soon as you get up in the morning, you're mad immediately. It's like, man, you want to get something to eat first. You want to have a day. Like, you're already upset to start the day without any kind of interaction first.
Yep. And most of those people are LGBTQ members now. I was like, yep, this is, I'm not convinced. I'll never be convinced. Because the people that's in there, nah, they're just hiding. Like you said, they're hiding. They're just trying to hide behind that, use that as a facade.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
Same to you.
All
right. Shout out to the caller. He felt that. It's like, all right, man, I feel you. You say it with your chest. Okay, let's keep on rocking. All right. It's Cat Caller. Who am I speaking to?
Well, hello.
Yeah, you there, boss? What's going on?
Oh, hey, ABL. Thanks for taking my call, mate. How you doing?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, everything's cool, man. Everything's cool. Yeah, I just want to talk about that LA business being robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I know it's kind of bad, but I kind of found that a bit funny. I don't know what it is. It's just about the guy talking about just obviously all the guys going in there and breaking in, and then him thinking that, what did he say? He said, I was thinking of going down there and trying and rustling them out. I mean, really?
Yeah, it's like, well, you might not want to do that. You get about 15 guys and you're just one person. Do you even have a gun? I think he might be a little bit outmanned.
So sad. I mean, even if, even if none of the guys had guns on them, which is, what's the chance of that? They've all probably got pistols on them, right? With what's that thing called again? The switch, is it? Switch?
Oh yeah, with the switch, it makes your handgun fully automatic.
Yeah, so if they've not got, I mean, there's like 20 of them. They're just gonna stomp him, into fine wine, right? I mean,
exactly.
I mean, it's kind of, it's obviously sad. I'm not, I know it's not nice to laugh, but it's obviously sad what happens to him because it's his business, isn't it? And he's got loads of employees in that. But it's literally the wild, wild west down there, man. And it's, it makes me laugh. Like, these liberals think that, these red states, they think that, they love their guns. They have loads of guns, in the red states, and they think it's the wild, wild west. Like, everyone's shooting each other out on the street, and it's like, well, no, it's the blue states that are the wild, wild west. I mean, look at the way those guys are just walking around, going and smashing into businesses and not afraid of anyone. They're not afraid of the police. They're not afraid of anyone because they know everyone around them hasn't got a weapon on them, and it's just easy pickings, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's the problem, because when you have criminals, they tend to pick on soft targets where they know that they have a high chance of not meeting any kind of firepower.
Yeah, I mean, can he not install like turrets on the roof or something like that? No.
I doubt that you could, but if you could, that'd be a great idea.
Or a landmine or something.
Yeah,
I don't
something.
know. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just, look, I don't know. I mean, I guess. It's sad that these things have to happen to people for them to kind of wake up and go, wow, maybe it's best I kind of vote for someone else. But even if these people do start voting for the right people, I mean, how long do you think it will change? It'll probably take a decade or would you think a decade or less for things to really change in those states? Or
it's going to take a while because a lot of this stuff is pretty deep and ingrained, and it's not going to happen overnight. So it's going to be a while, and a lot of the people there don't want things to change. So there's going to be a problem. It's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, they just end up moving to another state eventually, don't they? Really, innit? I mean,
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and as for the Bodega story with the workers getting the concealed, that's music to my ears, man. I just love hearing stories like that. It's just like, people empowering themselves. Because, it must get to a point where you're just being taken advantage all the time and you're having a business, and eventually, like that story where that guy stabbed that guy, it's like, that's just, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, you keep messing around with people, they're gonna bite back, and then, it's tough, innit? It's tough.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just love hearing stories like that, and And more people need to do it. And hopefully these states, you know, I mean, the government realizes that more and more people want it. So we can't really fight against it. I mean, I'm not too sure what else you can do. But yeah, thanks again, ABL. Great show, mate. Shout out to the chat and appreciate you taking my call again, mate.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, by the way, your UK accent's not too bad, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. All right, man. Take it.
All right, now.
All right, bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. 208, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Tom ABL. Thanks for taking the call.
No problem.
Once again, I'm sure you had one heck of a show tonight. I'll be totally honest. I just got in out of the field, and but I have watched all your shows this week. So I wanted to speak about Hunter Biden.
All right.
In my opinion, I think this is the biggest farce, and I hope to God that I'm not the only one that can see this. I don't know if it's been addressed earlier or not, but we all know Hunter wanted to testify before Congress, like any other human being, you know, would go in and it's publicized and filmed and put out to the public, right? I think he wanted to do that because he wanted to create a circus. And so now he just got hit with 9 indictments. That's not something to celebrate, because now he has a legitimate excuse when they try to drag him into the skiff and hold him accountable for his words. He can say, I'm under indictment and I plead the fifth, and there's nothing they can do. And so I don't think it's anything to celebrate. I think that was part of the chessboard. That's just my opinion.
Makes sense.
What's that?
I said it makes sense.
I mean, you know, everybody says Trump is a chess player, a long-term chess player. I get it. I hope and pray he is. I think the man is, but you got to understand, these Democrats have been doing this nefarious stuff for a very long time, and they should have held the DOJ's feet. When Kevin McCarthy first got in there, Kevin McCarthy should have been the one to start this, or to put pressure on doing something. Kevin McCarthy didn't do what he said he was going to do. He didn't release the tapes. He didn't, you know, and now he's left Congress and he's leaving us with another void. I think Kevin McCarthy's one of the biggest rhinos that's ever been in Congress. So this thing with Hunter Biden, this is what I think, ABL. I don't think Grandpa Magoo will ever see a day. I don't think he will be impeached. They don't have enough time to impeach him. The Republican Party, other than the Freedom Caucus, I want to make sure I take the Freedom Caucus out of this. They got the right idea, but the rest of the establishment Republicans, they can tout law and order and we do it by the book all they want to. Until they start playing by the same rules that's written on the Democratic play card, we're always going to be coming in second, because you got to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not the only one that sees this.
I mean, it makes sense to me. Absolutely.
And one other thing I wanted to ask you off topic, and I won't keep you long. I know you got other callers logged up. Have you seen anything in the news about this African General Sergeant? He's a member of the military over there that's starting to actually speak out against the government about how much wealth that the continent has, but yet they're the most impoverished continent on earth. Have you seen anything about that?
I haven't.
This guy's got you might want to look into that. This guy's got a really good message, and he's right. I think he's spot on. I mean, they have the wealth, they have the water, but why are they impoverished? And I agree with this guy. He's got a really good message. That's all I'll say about that. If you want to look into it, it's surprising. You know, he's got a lot of truth in what he has to say.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
You got it. I'll talk to you soon, ABL.
All right.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. Thanks for taking my call. ABL, unfortunately, our society and the world is in chaos. You know, schools of higher learning, what a misnomer, but schools have become indoctrination centers for the left. That's what's happened. You know, they have brainwashed these young people into believing that they need to disregard and disavow the Constitution of the United States because it was made by quote unquote, white slave owners. And they want to take away all your rights to bear arms. They want communism. And through that comes the chaos. This country has been thrown into chaos. And now you need a heavy hand to battle chaos. You really do. It's almost like, the classroom that has no teacher or the substitute teacher where the classroom has gone crazy. You need to be able to keep a lid on these things. But once they're out of the box and people are just, like that business, you see the businesses, are looted and robbed, and the bodegas and everything else that you're talking about. This is a result of the chaos and then the reaction to that chaos. The thing is, just like with the school and the vegan thing, you can't let 500 people out of 10,000 people dictate policy. You can't throw a program off the network just because a lady wrote a letter saying that she's unhappy with your programming. Otherwise they would have threw that All in the Family off of TV years before. We have to have the freedoms to have everybody's opinion come out. And also you have to stop all that money, as I said before, all our wealth is being sent to the Ukraine and these other places. Then they're going to suddenly ask that we all have to tighten our belts. That's what they do. They waste your money, they steal your money, and then they say we all have to tighten our belts. Taxes have to go up. Home taxes have to go up. Everything else has to go up because, we have this problem. All this money that's being spent on the illegals or the migrants or whatever you want to call them, all that money that's spent on them, where's that money coming from? It's coming from other programs. And then those other programs and those other things have no money, and you have to find it from somewhere. It's a sad state, but you really need somebody that can take control with all of us to gather people to say, no, we're not going to stand for this. This is the real Nazi things. They love calling people Nazis and everything else. Well, I love how they'll love to march or go into a lecture and argue and yell and not allow you to speak. But they can't defend their argument. They never can. They'll walk out once they have to argue their point because they're not educated. They're not educated. They've been indoctrinated. That's what's happened. They've been indoctrinated, not educated, so they can't defend their point of view. They don't want to hear your point of view. And once you start talking and asking the hard questions, they shut down and they don't want to hear it. It's like when we used to have to question criminals. Once you start asking them the true facts, they don't want to hear it. They shut down. They don't want to talk. Why? Because the truth is you were at the murder scene. And we have the proof that you weren't at these places you said you were. And it's the same thing with these people. Once you say these are the fault of your policies have failed, then they want to just shut everything down and shut up and not say anything. I love that one video where AOC was just completely destroyed by the, remind me, ABL, the director of Homeland Security, not Homeland Security, of Border Patrol. Remember that guy? Middle-aged guy was talking to AOC, and AOC was, they've done, the immigrants have done nothing wrong. Yes, they have. They've broken immigration laws. Well, you still have to let them in the country. Yeah, they can come into the border and apply. Not just walk through. He completely destroyed her. They can't defend their point of view, ABL. And we need to take back control and have some sense in this country. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for listening to me. And I'll talk to you later, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Great show. Thank you.
All right. Great call. And that will be a wrap for me tonight. Thank y'all for being here again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. Was it Tom Homan? Shout out to Tom. I thought it was him, but I ain't going to say the wrong thing. So shout out to you guys. All right. But thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you have heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. This is also a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. You guys have been fantastic as always. Shout out to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I could not do this show without you. I'll be back live again, same bat time, same bat place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. But I'm here every day pretty much putting out pre-recorded content. So if you guys are not subscribed to the channel for whatever the reason may be, please do so. Also, shout out to the Facebook people. Follow me over there as well. Follow me on Instagram. Go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. And find all my links. Go to ablmerch.com to get the merchandise. And I got some more super chats right here. I'm going to read those right quick. Then I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. So let's check it out. And let me see where I left off. Shout out to Bob K. MIT. Shout out to Pete Bob, who says, ABL, please have people support the Real Women of America's calendar. It's great. I'll check that out. I have not, I think I heard about it, but I hadn't really seen it. I'll check it out. Thank you to Papa Naya Shelley, who says, excuse me, sir. You know you done messed up, right? First you said you bought the beer at 8. Now you know, you done messed up. You said you bought the beer at 8. You bought the bottle of beer at 8. See, you know you done messed up. Huh? You know you done messed up. Classic movie. Shout out to Bina, who says, oh, you just gifted a few memberships. Thank you for gifting the memberships. And thank you to Juvenile Loki, 3 Oz. And I know I said that possibly wrong, but thank you for gifting memberships as well. And thank you to TJ Jizzle, who says, I'm still in the fight with you, ABL, with the heart emojis for the meat vegan. Shout out to you. Thank you for your support. And thank you to Brian Henderson, who says, love our country and pray for true unity. Right on. And thank you to Fragniac for the 0-hour donation right now, who says, is it Buster Right or Banger Yui? Both. It depends. If you got a Buster Right, yeah, Buster Right, or Banger Right, or Banger Left, Buster Yui, either one, bang or bust, interchangeable. So that'll be a wrap for me. I'll be back live again, of course, on Wednesday, but I'm here every day putting out pre-recorded content. Y'all please follow me here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good places. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.